A kaleidoscope of color sold out at Giants Stadium as the Giants host the San Diego Chargers, and the game will begin in the rain. Flushed with a victory Monday night against Green Bay, the Giants are 2-2. Injurious start for the Chargers, 1-3, and they're hurting elsewhere. The left wrist of quarterback Dan Fouts, one of the top quarterbacks in the league, injured, painful. He'll operate in a cast. Merlin Olsen, how serious is that injury?
Well, that's really serious, especially with the rain, Dick. He's going to have trouble handling the football. He's also got an injury to his right thumb. The part that really scares me, however, is his ability to take the snap. Now, he can't take a shot on that left hand. Watch how Fouts will separate his hands here, taking a snap pregame, and look how hard it is for him to handle a football. I'm afraid that with a wet ball, that may spell fumble and turnover. That's been a nemesis for the Chargers all year.
Well, the Chargers, along with the Jets, are one of the preseason favorites to make it to the Super Bowl. How important is it for them to win today?
Terribly important, Dick. In fact, desperate for them. They feel if they don't win today, they're probably not going to be in the playoffs.
The Giants, in turn, Bill Parcells feels that they're in the pack, and this is a key chance for them to move forward.
Parcells certainly feels that his team is capable of stepping out with the big boys. He said we need back-to-back victories in a game of this kind to put us out of the pack and get lined up on a playoff responsibility. He'd very much like to do that.
And Don Coryell on the near sidelines. He has been a bit grouchy this week down in San Diego, and understandably, they've lost 3 close games, including an overtime defeat at home against the Cleveland Browns. And he was upset about what he felt were some calls that went against him, especially an interference call against Kellen Winslow that may have cost San Diego the victory.
And Dick, just looking at the skies to the left end of our stadium from where we sit, things are lightening up a little bit. And it's important to know that this kind of turf is good even when it's wet. The footing will not be bad. The concern for the Chargers, the slickness of that football, and certainly if it can stop now, we'll be in good shape.
That's James Brooks, deep to return. Ali Haji Sheikh, who set a Giants record with a 56-yard field goal on Monday night. The rookie from Michigan kicks it off. Through the shower to Brooks at the 9. And he breaks into the clear, and then the first casualty of that wet turf as Brooks slips down at the 32-yard line. Dan Fouts brings on the Chargers. James Brooks and Chuck Muncie both banged up in the Browns game last week, but they start today. The veteran Charlie Joyner, great position and possession receiver. Wes Chandler, electrifying, and the tight end in the league, Kellen Winslow, along with Dwight Clark. Billy Shields, Doug Wilkerson returns from the injured list. Masick, White, and Gissinger, the offensive line. We begin from the 32 of San Diego. Fouts completes it to the 43, maybe the 44-yard line, and a first down to Kellen Winslow. He had 8 catches last week, picks up 11 yards on that reception. Curtis McGriff, Jim Burt, and D. Hardison, the front 3 in the Giant defense. Great set of linebackers. Van Pelt, Kelly, the veterans, Byron Hunt. Lawrence Taylor is actually playing inside and Hunt outside, and Taylor, of course, the defensive player of the year last couple of seasons. Haynes and Jackson at the corner. Courier and Reese, the safeties. First down at the 43. Plenty of time for Fouts. He's got Joyner open, and a first down at the Giant 32-yard line. Tackle made by Beasley Reese, but not until the veteran Joyner holes in another.
25 yards to Charlie Joyner. Beautiful shot down the sideline. Looked like Fouts had a lot more time than he anticipated. He looked at Joyner early. Joyner was covered, but now Joyner has gone between the defenders down there. Fouts quick to spot that opening, got the ball right into his hands before number 28, Beasley Reese, knocked him out of bounds.
So 2 quick completions by Fouts to move his team to the Giant 32. Pump fake, and now Severs, and almost into the hands of Winslow. It would have been a touchdown. Through one tight end, Severs, and almost to another. Beasley Reese made the play.
Dick, so far it would appear that banged up wrist and that sore thumb not bothering Dan Fouts. Taking the snaps, and it's amazing what adrenaline will do for you. The shot here, tipped up. Not a good pass, but watch how close number 80, Kellen Winslow, comes to catching that football. Had it been in front of him, instead of having to force him around, I think he'd had it in his hands.
Some of the skies blue overhead, but the rain continues to fall. On 2nd and 10, a quickie to Winslow, and the big tight end from the University of Missouri, jammed down at the 20-yard line and has another Charger first down. And Fouts, true to form, comes out throwing.
I don't think there's another offense in football that can take advantage of you defensively as quickly as San Diego can. They saw an opening. Fouts didn't have to make a call over there. Winslow knew what he had to do. Fouts snapped it up and got him the ball instantly. Big play.
At the 20-yard line, Andy hadn't made the tackle. Only Muncie in the backfield behind Fouts. Muncie's first carry, forced deep in his backfield, and he won't make a thing. Loses 3. And that's where the Giants defense shines, against the run. Lawrence Taylor made the tackle. Burt was there to force it outside.
Well, Dick, in an era that running backs are used to taking a lot of turf, the Giants holding less than 3 yards, 2.9 per carry. They didn't even give Muncie that much. They put him back.
So -2 for Chuck Muncie. It'll be 2nd and 12, and Fouts back where he likes it in a throwing situation. He sends Chandler to the left, Bobby Duckworth to the right. Joyner starts slotted left, now moves to the right, now back to the left. And incomplete is that play in confusion from the start. He was looking for Joyner, and Joyner wasn't there.
Number 54, Andy Hedden, blitzing from the outside. Fouts could feel his pressure even though he wasn't on top of him. Watch Joyner now, who's come across and heads back across against the grain now. He'll cut back inside. I believe he was the intended receiver. Right there, he got tangled up with Kellen Winslow. Now Fouts is throwing to a point. He's throwing to a spot, and because of that tangle of their feet, Joyner was not able to get there. I think if they hadn't tripped there, he would have caught that football, Dick.
Giants defense digging in on 3rd and 12 at the New York 22. Incomplete. Both Chandler and Winslow in the area. And San Diego will be forced to try a field goal. It'll be about 40 yards for Rolf Brunner, who has not had a good season. Brunner, 4 for 10. His longest 51 yards this year. This one certainly well within his range, but he'll be kicking a wet football. He is 4 for 10 field goals attempted. That one's on the money. So San Diego, a team that has trailed early in all 4 of its games this season, jumps into the early 3-0 advantage. Timeout with 12:29 left in the first quarter. Don Coryell has not had a lot of chance to applaud in this 1-3 start for his Chargers. And now it'll be San Diego to kick it off. The Giants, by the way, have activated Leon Bright. He was on the injured reserve list the first 4 games of the season. Bright, an excellent kick returner and a good 3rd down back in passing situations. Bright, number 45, will be deep with Danny Pittman. We welcome those of you that have been watching Seattle and Cleveland. The Seahawks with a big win at Cleveland, 24-9. Rolf Brunner has kicked a 40-yard field goal to give the San Diego Chargers the early lead here at Giants Stadium, as San Diego took the opening kickoff and marched to the Giants 20 and eventually scored on the field goal. And now Brunner to kick it off to Leon Bright, just activated by the Giants. Danny Pittman is also back for the Giants. It has been raining since 15 minutes before the kickoff, but the skies are lighter now. This is Pittman, 15, and hammered at the 23-yard line. For the New York Giants, their offensive set: quarterback Scott Brunner from Delaware, Butch Woolfolk of Michigan, and Rob Carpenter. He's had 3 100-yard rushing days already this year. Ernest Gray, the top receiver for the Giants, and John Missler with the rookie Zeke Mowat, the tight end. The blockers in front of Brunner: Benson, Ard, Humphrey, Turner, and King. Woolfolk in motion. Rob Carpenter, that's the play likes. He starts off tackle, tries to cut back inside. Short yardage that time as they test the Charger defense. And in the lightning bolt helmets, Keith Ferguson, Bill Elko, he's the 3rd string nose tackle. Injuries there. Gary Johnson, Linebackers for San Diego, Lyndon King, the 2 rookies in the middle, Mike Green from Oklahoma State, Billy Ray Smith of Arkansas, Woody Lowe, the veteran, and the D-backs, Gil Byrd and Danny Walters at the corners, Greger and Green, Ken Green for the injured Tim Fox at safety. Woolfolk finds a hole, and then it closes up as Billy Ray Smith, the All-American from Arkansas, his daddy a great player with the Baltimore Colts for 14 years, made the hit.
Bill Elko, actually a rookie himself, getting a start because of injuries. The 2 blockers, or 2 defenders again ahead of him, are on the shelf. Number 90 right in the middle of your screen, getting a whole handful of J.T. Turner, but J.T. Turner is winning that battle. You see Elko coming to the sideline. They're going into a pass rushing mode.
3rd down and 6. Brunner. 30, 35, and to the 38-yard line, and a first down. Brunner on one knee and still struggling forward, and that caused another hit by the Chargers. The Giant fans wanted a penalty. They get an 11-yard scramble and a first down.
Danny Walters there to finally shut him down. Brunner looking for a receiver. Looked like he wanted number 85, John Missler, coming across short in front of him. Could not find anyone open and just tucked the football in, went upfield. Now watch him as Walters tackles him here. He's got a leg down, and he should have stopped right there, but he started struggling and took another hit.
First down at the 38. It's Carpenter. Fumble, and the Chargers say they have it. The officials agree. San Diego gets the first turnover of the game.
We talked about a wet football. We thought it would hurt the Chargers early. They tend to put it in the air. However, Rob Carpenter coughed it up as he went in, took a real hit on the line of scrimmage. And it's ironic, I guess, Dick, because you hear Coach Parcells talk, Bill Parcells talk about error-free football, cold weather football, bad circumstances, cold weather, ice and snow and wet. He said we run the football because it's safer. Not so here in the early going today.
It appeared that Mike Green, the rookie, fell on the ball. First down at this 40-yard line. San Diego leading 3-0. And almost caught. That's the second play of that sort. Chuck Muncie downfield. Almost had the deflection earlier. A pass that went through Seaver's fingertips almost caromed to Kellen Winslow and also fell incomplete.
A little bit surprised that Muncie didn't hang on to that. Did have a hold of it. Would have been a very big and a very surprising play. One thing you can sense that the timing is a little bit off for the Chargers. They had this same trouble a couple of weeks ago in Seattle, and they had a very poor first half up there. Several interceptions for Dan Fouts. When his timing is off, he has those problems. Let's see if he can get it back together.
Muncie. That's blockers. And it's Lawrence Taylor. What a great athlete he is. Sprinting cross field to throw a body into Muncie, knock him out of bounds 2 yards shy of a first down. Let's go to NFL 83.
Thank you, Dick Enberg. What a game in Washington, D.C. Joe Theismann rallying the Redskins 11 yards to Charlie Brown. With 4 minutes left, Washington's now within 5. Back to Dick and Merlin.
First half of our doubleheader, and what a game down in Washington, D.C. The Giants, of course, trying to chase the Redskins and the Cowboys. The Chargers at 1-3, looking at the Raiders, who are unbeaten going into that game. Muncie looking for a first down, and he dives to the 28. That'll do it. So San Diego gets another set of 4 at the 10-minute mark of this first quarter. The Chargers leading on a 40-yard Rolf Manerska field goal.
Mike Haynes, number 36, excellent athlete, fine cornerback, was the man who got a hold of Muncie by the heels to shut him down on that play. Haynes doesn't get as much action on his side of the field. You look at his stats, you say must not be that great a back, but the trouble with looking at statistics, you don't know how many times they're going away from a great one like that.
Still raining here at Giant Stadium. James Brooks, his first carry, 25-20. And the little running back from Auburn fumbles. Fighting for extra effort, and the Chargers maintain possession. So 2 fumbles, both recovered by San Diego, and that'll be a first down inside the 15.
Dick, you talked about Taylor earlier, the great pursuit of number 56 for the Giants. Watch him read the play outside and then just fly to the outside. Look how quickly he covers the ground there And he's the man that shook that ball loose. You see Brooks coming up off the ground. He's very lucky that that ball ended up in the hands of one of his teammates.
Appeared to be Wes Chandler who fell on it. We welcome those who have seen the Bears beat the Broncos 31-14 here at Giant Stadium. The San Diego Chargers trying to add to their 3-0 lead, and Brooks is smothered in a sea of Giant blue. Denver running into a buzzsaw at Soldier Field today as the Bears winners 31-14. Rolf Brunner capped a drive off the opening kickoff for San Diego to lead 3-0 on a 40-yard field goal, then a fumble recovered by the Chargers at the 40, and they have driven now to the Giants' 12-yard line in the rain. It's 2nd and 8. Started to rain 15 minutes before game time. There are blue skies all around Giant Stadium, but it continues to rain rather hard on the playing surface. Fouts to Chandler, incomplete at the 7-yard line. Coverage from Mark Haynes, number 36. He's the man who made that most important tackle on 4th and goal Monday night against Green Bay when he dropped the tight end on that reverse.
Great open field tackle, man to man against a man 20 pounds, 25 pounds heavier. That really was the cornerstone of that outstanding, or perhaps the great play of that outstanding defensive performance against Green Bay.
See the signals being sent in from Coryell and Dave Levy, his coach, and trying to shelter them from the far sidelines. The strength coach of the Chargers will see that scenario again. Key play, 3rd and 8 from the 12.
Fouts is really hurt. He's not going to tell you anything. He is tough. Unusual for a quarterback to have that kind of toughness. This man does. Watch Taylor, 56, from the top of your screen, just streaking inside. No one there to block him. Fouts tried to get away, did not have a chance.
It'll be a 37-yard attempt by Brunner. Bad snap, but Brunner hits it through. So he is 2 for 2 after a slow 4 out of 10 start. Brunner has all 6 Charger points, and with 7 minutes 43 seconds left in this quarter, the Chargers lead 6-0.
37 yards on the field goal, and I think perhaps Don Coryell's faith in that man right there, Rolf Brunner, beginning to pay off. I asked him about, I said, is this a slump for Brunner? He said he's not doing well, but when you've got a kicker who is as dependable and as steady as Rolf Brunner, you don't mess with him. You let him get out of it on his own. And it appears he may have done that, Dick.
And such a quality man, and in some ways, Merlin, some feel that now that he's healthier than he has been in 4 years, really strong, that maybe he feels that he can kick out of his range rather than just taking it easy. And those 2 kicks today really reflected a nice, easy swing through of that foot. Didn't try to overkick it, and it's 6-0 San Diego as Brunner in the rain will kick to Leon Bright. Let's watch the approach of Brunner. Hits it high but short to Pittman at the 10. Ooh, he was carrying that ball in a precarious position and hammered down at the 23-yard line as Ray Preston, 52 from Syracuse, made the tackle along with Miles McPherson.
We talk about suicide squatters. Number 52, Ray Preston, backup linebacker, piling down, getting away from Whittington, 58. Now watch him just dive in there, just lower his body, go right through a second block, and gets the tackle right there. That's great special teams play.
They're not overpaid, are they?
No, believe me. You got to be a little psycho for that kind of job.
Giants, they've had the ball 4 plays, rushing all 4. Brunner, lots of time. He's got an open man. Zeke Mowat unable to pull down the one-handed attempt. He's a rookie from Florida State, free agent. Other scores today, some finals in the first half of our doubleheaders. Pittsburgh rallied from behind to beat a pesky Oiler team 17-10. It was Seattle rolling at Cleveland 24-9. San Francisco big at New England 33-13. And as you saw, Chicago beating the Denver Broncos handily. 2nd and 10 for the Giants, trailing 6-0. Draw to Woolfolk. And the Charger defense, they've received a lot of criticism from their fans and their press, and they're trying to dig in and stop the opposition, something they have not done well this year. They've allowed an average of 30 points a game to their opponents.
On that first down situation, a pass from Brunner, a bit unsuspected. The Giants have been running almost entirely on 1st and 10. In fact, last week against Green Bay, shocked everyone by throwing on that down. Looks like they've opened up here a little bit today, Dick.
It's 3rd down and 7, not 3rd and 5, but 3rd and 7. And a running play off a pass formation, a fumble, and that's going to be Leroy Jones, stopped at the 1-yard line. Leroy Jones denied the touchdown. He thinks he scored, but he's down at the 1.
Woody Lowe, number 51, Woody Lowe blitzing in from the right side, not fooled at all on what started out to look like a pass play. A little sweep generated out of that shotgun formation. Woody shook the ball loose. Of course, the ball bounced very comfortably. Chance for you to see it. Joe Morris, number 20. Now watch Lowe bang the ball. His hand hit that wet ball. And Leroy Jones, just activated this week. Had it not been for a good tackle by Brunner, he'd have found himself into the end zone. Again, a chance to see the hand come in. Whoop, I'm sorry. We got a yard marker in front of it, but that didn't stop you from seeing Leroy scoop it up.
So from just outside the 1, it's Chuck Muncie, and he is not in, and the Giants have one of the best goal line defenses in the National Football League, and they'll meet the challenge of 4 tries from just outside the 1. San Diego leading 6-0 on a pair of field goals.
Chargers have not gotten off to a quick start all year. That has hampered them, Dick. They're off with 2 field goals here. If they can put this one in the end zone, get their motor running pretty good. Leroy's got to be thrilled on the sideline.
The Giants, well, that's an interesting statistic. No one has gotten in on the ground yet. Muncie hasn't, and it'll be 3rd and goal. And they say they've got the football.
No.
The officials say the ball was dead. Whoops, one of the officials calling timeout and nailed the other one as he went up with a signal.
That's tough down there for those guys in the black and white uniforms too, Dick. But good surge from the Giant defense. Bill Parcells, of course, man who put this defense together. Muncie's just going to try and go over the top. But when you're getting beat on the line of scrimmage, and you saw the penetration, it looked like perhaps no, that's Jim Burt, number 64, who submarined, and you saw the ball loose momentarily, but the whistle had blown.
That ball tickling the goal line on 3rd and goal. They're going to go wide with Muncie, and he's in the end zone. Chuck Muncie, this is his 40th game as a Charger, and that's his 30th touchdown.
Parcells has to feel that it was inevitable. Finally got a rushing touchdown against his troops, but they have fought gamely down there, stretching the defense a little with the sweep. And Muncie is a big, tough back to bring down. I think as tough a short yardage back as there is in football, especially when he's going wide.
Winslow, look at Winslow, 80, take his man, and Brooks another. 2 men known for their offensive ability, throwing blocks for Muncie. Brunner adds the extra point, and a flag is down with that kick. We'll check the penalty when we return. There's a timeout. 5 minutes and 45 seconds left in the first quarter. San Diego charges out 13-0. To 10 points. Took them less than a minute to score when they were just a yard out, but 3 cracks at a tough Giant defense before Muncie could dive in. Leon Bright, deep man, and Brunner thus far keeping the ball away from him, has kicked twice to Pittman. There's Muncie, former star at California. Joe Capps Bears with a big 33-all tie against Arizona yesterday.
Dick, looking at the records, Giants have only fumbled 7 times in the ball games to this point, have lost 4. Here they are 2 for 2. Dropped it twice, lost it twice in this game.
Brunner to kick, and you would think that the rain would have hurt the passing team, the Chargers, and helped the defensive team, the Giants. Hasn't worked out that way. Who said it was easy to figure? 15, 20, and Leon Bright. Neon Leon out to the 29-yard line. Tackled out of bounds by Bradley. Across the way. Let's go to NFL 83.
Dick Enberg in Washington. The Redskins trailed by 15 points. They have just taken the lead. Theismann of Joe Washington with 33 seconds left. 37-35 Washington. What a comeback for the Super Bowl champs. Back to you, Dick.
All right, the Redskins at home, and what a thriller for their fans, but not over yet down in D.C. Derry Nelson made that last tackle. Now it's the Giants trying to come back from a 13-0 deficit, and Carpenter on a little swing bumped out of bounds after a 5-yard gain. Not much there on the far sidelines.
A lot of pressure put on a young rookie cornerback over there, number 22, Gil Byrd. And he did a beautiful job of submarining back underneath the blocking and getting a hold of Carpenter's legs to pull him down. That's a very tough play. Tough play for a youngster, tough play for a veteran corner. He did a good job there, Dick.
Second down and 5 at the Giant 32. 5:27 left first quarter. Carpenter, it's like rugby, to the 35-yard line.
That's certainly one of the things that the San Diego defense has had to set their sights on, is an improved performance against the running game. Last week, for example, in the past 2 weeks, they've had safeties make 15 tackles individually. And when you have that kind of stats, a man like Tom Bass, defensive coach, has got to be concerned. That means you're not getting the ball and the ball carriers stopped on the line of scrimmage. You want to have those tackles made, and by linebackers.
Third down 3. Brunner has the first down at the 45. Nice diving catch by Ernest Gray, the leading receiver for the Giants. That's his 17th of the season. Walters made the tackle.
We've got number 30, Bruce Laird, in there. Bob Gregor on the sideline. Perhaps Gregor nursing an injury on that play. Good play there. Just a little streak to the inside by Ernest Gray. The Giants feel that presently he is their only legitimate deep ball threat. On that particular play, they used him short, but very effectively.
Well, the Giants, Merlin, have only 2 touchdowns passing, and both to Gray. Play action, first down pass by Brunner. He had John Missler open, but overshot him down at the San Diego 30. And the fans, of course, the controversy, quarterbacks. It lives here at Giant Stadium. Phil Simms, a former regular. Some fans want him in there. Brunner, because it's been basically a conservative ground game engineered by the Giants. Some want the ball in the air more.
Defensively, you look at the stats, and of course the Giants have been running the ball on first down. Missler coming inside of 22, Gil Byrd, stretching across. Bruce Laird, number 30, chasing, and that was Danny Walters, 29, the man who got there last. Ball simply overthrown, Dick.
Ball at the 44-yard line. 2nd and 10. Woolfolk fumbles, and the Chargers say they have it again, and they do. Woolfolk was hit hard, and Keith Ferguson came up with a football. That's 3 out of 3 in this first quarter that have gone against the Giants.
Keith Ferguson, number 76, defensive left end for the Chargers. Number 25, Butch Woolfolk, going inside. Great block by Carpenter there, and Woolfolk fighting for the extra yardage. The ball just left behind. Good hit. Looked like Woody Lowe, 51, that put his helmet on the football. And of course, number 76, Keith Ferguson, the man who ended up with the ball in his hands.
So Lowe has forced a couple of fumbles, and the 2 previous fumbles led to 10 San Diego points. This is Kellen Winslow with blockers at the 40 and down to the 37-yard line. You talk about a receiver punishing a tackler when you're one-on-one in the open field. That Winslow really makes you pay for the hit.
6'7", 235. I wouldn't want any part of him. Little screen pass here. Fouts looking left. Winslow sneaking out to his right. Brad Van Pelt pressuring there, and it's Van Pelt, I believe, that gets all the way back into the play, chasing. Well, he's a little bit late. Actually, 30, who was that?
Mark Haynes made the tackle.
Mark Haynes, 36, looked like a 38 from here.
Oh, there's another fumble the other way, and the Giants have this one. Chuck Muncie loses the ball on the handoff. And Jim Burt recovers for the Giants.
Cardinal rule for receivers, ball carriers, tuck that football away before you go. Muncie is looking for the hole before he tucks the ball away. Look at his head. He's looking for the hole. He's got to tuck that football away. All you little leaguers out there, you high school players, it's one of the first lessons, and you see Muncie shaking his head. Nobody knows better than he does.
So the Giants finally get one back and trailing 13-0 with 3 minutes and 11 seconds left in the quarter. It's Giants ball at their own 40. Woolfolk in motion. Brunner throwing on first down again to Carpenter. And he has only 2 yards, as it was Mike Green who came up to make the initial hit. It'll be second down and 8 at the make it 9 at the 41. We welcome you to Giants Stadium. What a game down at Kennedy as the Redskins, the Super Bowl champs, showed their mettle today as they overcame a tough Raider performance, 37-35. Here it's the San Diego Chargers leading the Giants 13-0 as the Chargers have taken advantage of 2 Giant fumbles to score 10 points. Just had another fumble recovery only to have Muncie fumble it back to the Giants. 2nd and 9, and thus far, Merlin Olsen, the Giants have not been able to run against a San Diego defense that has been very generous against the run thus far.
Certainly true, and the Chargers facing another problem today. Tim Fouts, fine safety, has been on the sideline, and Bob Greger, for some reason, has been sidelined as well, perhaps nursing a sore leg. So the end result is you've got 2 fresh safeties out there, Bruce Laird and Ken Green. That would, I think, offer some exciting targets for Scott Brunner. So far, he's not been able to take advantage of them.
3rd down and a long 6, and Brunner out of the shotgun. Oh, the Chargers showing blitz. What a catch by Danny Pittman, and a first down at the 47 of the Chargers, and Brunner, under heavy pressure, makes a great throw.
Lyndon King blitzing from the inside, leaping over the blockers to put a savage blow. Number 57 right in the middle of your screen. Watch him jump the block of Joe Morris, but watch this catch under pressure from 49 Andre Green. That's a great play. 57 again. Watch him jump right there.
And King putting the pressure on, but even though Young made a good defensive play for San Diego, the pass complete to Pittman. This is Mulledy, the tight end, in motion. Carpenter breaking some tackles, but gets only a couple to the San Diego 45-yard line. We're in the final minute of the first quarter. The score is San Diego 13, the Giants nothing. And in case you weren't with us from the start, the only touchdown of this first quarter came on a Chuck Muncie run from the 1-foot line as the Giants were tough in a goal line situation. Good block by Winslow and Brooks, 80-21. Muncie scoring, and that capped a fumble recovery by Leroy Jones that took it to the 1-yard line. 2 field goals by Benershka, 40 and 37 yards, preceded that touchdown. Ernest Gray and Woody Lowe shadowing him, finally drags him down at the 40. It'll be a couple yards short of the first down.
Working on Dan Fouts' shoulder there. That's his throwing arm, his right arm. We told you he's had trouble with his left wrist. It's in a cast. He's got trouble with his right thumb. There's the cast. And that's the end of the quarter.
And the San Diego Chargers taking advantage of some loose play by the Giants. Fumble recovery is the key, and it's 13-0 after the first period. Short in the defensive backfield with injuries have Gil Bird down and Bob Greger taping up his knee. Tim Fouts, the starting safety for whom Greger is helping fill in along with Ken Green. He's on crutches and is out with a broken foot for at least a month. So
looks like a MASH hospital down on that sideline.
Don Coryell having to call upon his reserves. It's 3rd down, about 2 for the Giants. Carpenter. And he doesn't make it. Great penetration by Woody Lowe and Bruce Laird. Laird, one of those substitutes, the veteran from American International of Massachusetts. And it'll be 4th down, and the field goal unit will come on for a long try for the Giants. Or will they? No, the punter, Jennings, is coming in. Other scores, the Raiders with a dramatic win, or a loss to the Redskins. A dramatic win for Washington. Chicago beats Denver. Dallas over Minnesota after spotting the Vikings a 2-touchdown lead. Dallas, that's when they've got you, when they're way behind. Pittsburgh won. They had to come from behind. 24-9 Seattle a winner. Beasley Reese, and that's going to be a penalty. He did not give James Brooks a fair chance to catch the ball. It has to be evident that the receiving player is not going to catch the ball before you can go in and take it away from him, and that's going to be a penalty against the Giants. You've got to give him a chance to catch it, and from that angle the official felt that Brooks might indeed want to catch the ball. He wasn't just giving it away.
Jennings kicking for the sideline. Beasley Reese streaking down there. Now, if there is no one there from the receiving team, he can indeed catch the football. But Brooks going to the sideline, looks like he may have had a chance to catch it. I'm not sure he wanted to.
Well, apparently they have changed the call after talking it over. They felt that Brooks did not indeed have a chance at catching it, and the replay would confirm that.
Dick, quickly, for those who weren't with us at the beginning of the game, let's show a snap. Dan Fouts taking a snap. We're concerned. He's got the wrist in a cast. Look how he splits his hands as he takes that football before the game. He doesn't want to take a shock on that left hand. We could see a fumble on the snap for San Diego.
The field is wet from the rain, but the rain has stopped. Muncie, who fumbled on his last carry, and because of his reputation of being a fumbler, they get some extra hits, and that's one of the penalties that comes with a bad reputation. If you do tend to fumble, that means you're going to be hit all the harder, because every coach in preparing his team is going to say, really go after the guy. He might cough it up. San Francisco wins at New England. Philadelphia outscores Atlanta today 28-24. Baltimore, they're 3-2 now, Frank Cush's club, as they win at Cincinnati. Green Bay set an NFL record. 49 of those points were in the first half as they beat Tampa Bay. You're up to date on the scores. Second down, incomplete. Eric Sievers, well covered by Lawrence Taylor. Taylor from North Carolina, an all-pro as a rookie.
Put on your helmets and go down and watch Fouts take this snap from center right here. Don Masick putting the ball back. Look how he splits his hands to keep the pressure off of that bad left wrist. Fouts able to control the football. What a great athlete he is. You see him slipping a little on the turf, maybe bothering his timing a little bit. That ball not as accurately thrown as you would see Fouts throw the ball normally.
That Sievers normally would catch that ball. Third down, 7 at the 10. Muncie has blockers. Gets around Lawrence Taylor and picks up a first down at the 22, and you don't see Taylor miss many, and he's still down, face down, mad at himself for not coming up with a tackle. He had a shot at Muncie and overran him. Maybe the wet turf cost the footing that he needed.
No question about it, Dick. As Muncie came around, he was square to the line of scrimmage, and he just kind of stopped his acceleration, let Lawrence do a little slide there, and then went right on for the first down.
11 yards on the play, and an important first down for San Diego as they keep the football deep in their own end at the 22. Score is 13-0 Chargers with 13 minutes left in the first half. Sievers intercepted. So that's 2 that have gone through the fingertips of Eric Sievers, and that one right into the waiting arms of Brad Van Pelt, his 17th career interception.
You don't see any emotion on the face of Dan Fouts, but he knows, and Eric Sievers knows, that should have been a reception. Let's take it all the way from snap to bobble to interception. Fouts back, he looks left, looked like it might have been a screen pass. There was coverage on the screen. Fouts wisely elects to go downfield. Ball bouncing out of the hands of Sievers, and the ever available Brad Van Pelt makes a big interception turnover for the New York Giants.
Stadium, we're in the second quarter, rainy day in the Big Apple, and thus far it's worked against the defense, and you would figure that would have been to the favor of the Giants.
Certainly has. Of course, Dan Fouts will tell you that won't happen too often. His receivers among the most sure-handed in all of football. That one bouncing right off Eric Sievers' hands into the waiting arms of Brad Van Pelt. He'll take it any way he can get it, and the Giants now have an opportunity to get back on the board.
Brunner on first down. They work on Danny Walters, and Walters certainly has been taken to school early in his pro career, trying to hit Ernest Gray. Pass a little wide.
Ernest Gray, of course, A man with great speed and experience. Going to go down and work on the young rookie, and I think trying to get him to slip a little bit on that loose turf. And of course the man who has to react, and that's the defensive man, at a big disadvantage on a slick turf, whether it be icy or wet. You saw Danny Bird doing, or not Danny Bird, but Danny Walters doing a good job of getting back, getting a hand on that football.
Going long for Woolfolk and almost intercepted by Gil Bird. So Bird, they were working on his back just a few minutes ago. Apparently he's okay, and almost came up with his first pro interception.
In talking to Bill Parcells, and you see Gil Bird hurting a little bit there. He must have twisted his back some. He talked about the running nature of his team. He said, we're basically a running team. Well, they've crossed up the Chargers today, going repeatedly to the pass on first down, and mostly ineffectively. As you saw right there, a chance for Bird to pull that one in and turn the interception tables around.
3rd and 10 right into the eyes of Scott Brunner, trailing 13-0. Oops. Gordon King, number 72, pulled back from his stance, and that'll cost the Giants 5. King, the number 1 pick from Stanford. There's a club with so few number 1 picks. Only 2 starters on offense and 2 on defense were number 1 selections by the Giants. They've done it with free agents. And penalties, not a positive statistic for the Giants.
Giants have been hurt repeatedly in the early part of the season by penalties. Cameras permitting, we're going to jump right into the eyes of Scott Brunner here. Watch him as he comes up. He'll try to read the defense, looks from side to side, tries to pick up a key on zone or man-to-man.
From the 37. Missler. And he's right at the first down sticks. At the 21-yard line, John Missler from Arizona State. And that'll be good enough for a first down.
Whatever Scott Brunner saw, he liked. He goes right after Missler with a 17-yard missile, puts it right in the hands of the young man with great patterns and great hands, working over there on Gil Bird, number 22. Fine play. He's their clutch guy. 3rd down, sure yardage. That's where they'll go.
Trailing 13-0 with 12 minutes left in the half. Carpenter on a trap. Looked as if he might get more, but good defensive help from the secondary. After Lyndon King made the initial contact, Bruce Laird finished him off. Ken Green also in on the stop. There's Green. He's from Washington State. Bob Greger, also a former Cougar, and for the first time these 2 close friends were united as starters today, but they both have had injury problems through the years, and immediately Greger sidelines with that sore knee, so he's out of there. Laird replacing him. It appeared he had a touchdown, but Walters got enough of the ball or of the receiver to knock it away. Ernest Gray it was, and not Pittman in the end zone. 83.
This San Diego defense has been much maligned, and their statistics are not good going into this second quarter of the season. But I have to tell you, Dick, in watching them perform, I believe that they have improved their defense. And I think their numbers over the latter part of this year will begin to show that. Certainly in Gil Bird and Danny Walters, they have 2 young corners who will get better, and the 2 linebackers inside the same way.
3rd down, out of the shotgun. Brunner hits Missler at the 12, but that's going to be short of the first down by a yard. So Ed forces Bill Parcells to make an interesting choice. Does he go for 3 or for possible 6? And he says, I'm going to go for it. Ball is at the 11-yard line, 4th and 1. Big play.
Parcells talked about a test of character. He said we've got to win the back-to-back big ones if we're going to get out of the pack. He's making a big choice here.
Now the crowd applauds to the decision. Carpenter did not appear that he made it, but may have dived underneath that pile of tacklers, and he does pick up the first down.
It's a game of inches. And those inches rewarded Bill Parcells, tackled by Billy Ray Smith on Carpenter, but he fought for that yardage and able to pull it off. I feel like you're right in the ball game here. I don't think he had it on the first move. I think it was that last lunge when he came underneath the tackle as he stretched out that gave him the first down.
They have the full 10 yards to go for the touchdown, and Carpenter doesn't get a thing on the first down try as Mike Green, number 58 from Oklahoma State, a long shot to make the club as a 9th round pick and a starter from game 1. And he's proved that when he hits you one-on-one, he can stop you cold and hit one of the better backs, and did just that in Carpenter.
Those two young linebackers, Billy Ray Smith and Mike Green, lead the Charger team in hits. That's a combination of tackles and assists, and they are number 1 and number 2 on the Charger team.
A loss of a yard, 2nd and goal from the 11. Zeke Moat. No one was there. Laird had come in on a blitz. Moat was 15 yards in the open, but on the slippery turf, and the ball not well directed. The Giants come up empty.
You see the frustration in the eyes of the coach. Watch the ball now. It forces a complete turn, and on this loose turf, the feet go right out from underneath him. On a dry day, he may have been able to pull it off.
Was he open?
No question about it. San Diego vulnerable on that play, but the ball inches away from the outstretched hands.
Our NBC cameraman was the closest to Moat. 3rd and goal. And it's to Missler to about the 2-yard line. And the Charger defense ganging up to deny Missler a chance to squirm away. Bird and Walters, both corners, in on the tackle. Well, another choice for Parcells on 4th and goal, and that's a tough 2.5 yards to go on a gamble.
And he wants to think about it. He decided to, I think he's signaling in a timeout from the sideline. Yes, he did. Scott Brunner is going to walk over and talk to him. You see them fighting. I think they wanted that football there.
Well, John Missler takes them close, but they're outside the 2-yard line, and Parcells buys himself a minute to make up his mind. Field goal or try for the touchdown. We'll see. His head coach, Bill Parcells, 42, former linebacker at Wichita State, native of New Jersey, and he brings on the field goal unit. That seemed to be the wise choice.
Just too much to lose and not that much to gain. If they don't take advantage of this opportunity, if they leave that 0 on the board, they're really asking for trouble in this game.
Trying to come up with something on a 12-play drive. And Haji Sheik, with that record field goal on Monday night, will try a little chip shot from the 10-yard line. 20 yards out of Brunner's hold. If it is the field goal try, and he just did squeak that one through. So Haji Sheik gives the Giants their first points, and that's 8 straight field goals for the rookie from Michigan. He was a walk-on in Ann Arbor, went 0 for 6 as a freshman. You know, Bo Schembechler didn't exactly applaud that, and now he becomes, well, maybe the brightest young kicker in the NFL.
New York and in New Orleans, Ken Stabler in the 2nd quarter. He finds the rookie Tyrone Young from Florida, beats Gerald Small, the Dolphins. New Orleans goes up on top, 7-0. Back to Dick and Merlin.
Kaleidoscope of rain gear here at Giants Stadium. The Giants have scored on a short field goal by Haji Sheik, and now his kickoff to James Brooks at the 3. And Brooks down, and so is a penalty flag. Haji Sheik has kicked his shortest field goal of this season, 20 yards, after a 56-yard record on Monday night. His thoughts about that kick.
Call against number 51, Woody Lowe, as he pushed Terry Kennard from behind. Was apparent even from here the penalty would go against the Chargers. Silly penalty for a veteran. He's made such great plays in this game. You hate to see him mess it up on that one.
So they take it back to the 10.
Illegal block in the back, number 51 during the run back. First down.
Yeah, we'll hear from Haji Sheik later. 13-3 the score. The Chargers breaking huddle at their own 10-yard line. Plenty of time. open is Sievers. He makes sure he latches onto that one and bowls out to the 32-yard line and a first down. 22 yards. Well, we'll keep Haji Sheik on that back burner and hear from him later. Right now, let's go to all the other scores for you. New Orleans leading Miami early 7-0 in the second quarter. 7-3 the Rams at home against the Lions, second period. And Kansas City leading St. Louis for bragging rights in Missouri 14-7 first quarter. All the rest of the games are final, and we'll quickly race through those for you in a second. First down, Chargers at their 32. Lots of time, and Sievers, oh, he runs away from two Giant tacklers, and he's out to the 46-yard line as he left Brad Van Pelt locked in his tracks and picks up another first down and 15 yards with it. Other finals, Washington 37-35 over the Raiders. 31-14 Denver beat Chicago.
Fouts back, getting an awful long time to throw the ball here. Finally finds an open man. Sievers just stepped through the tackle here. Brad Van Pelt and then Mike Haynes finally came back onto the other side to tie him up, but he's got the first down.
At the 47. Muncie into Giant territory at the 47-yard line. Just to run through the rest of the finals, Dallas down by 14 rallied at Minnesota to win 37-24. Pittsburgh beat Houston 17-10. Seattle a winner. They're 3-2 as they knock off Cleveland 24-9. It was 33-13. San Francisco is now 4-1 as they win at New England. Philadelphia runs their record to 3-2. They play the Giants next. 28-24 Philly beats Atlanta. It was Baltimore winning its third 34-31 at Cincinnati, and Green Bay 55, Tampa Bay 14. Green Bay a record 49 points in the first half. Another deflection. Now that's 4 times the ball's gone through Sievers' hands. 3 of those falling incomplete. One of them fell into the arms of Van Pelt, and Lawrence Taylor apparently banged up on the Giant sideline.
Certain players on your team that have tremendous impact on the opposition. Not a defensive player in football who has more impact on the team they're playing than Lawrence Taylor, and he's in some pain on that sideline. You would hope that that would be perhaps a muscle strain or a cramp, although it's not the kind of day you're likely to see cramps on.
Third down and 5. San Diego leading 13-3, and that's Wes Chandler. Oh, and very nearly breaking away with his tremendous speed. Bill Courier may have saved a touchdown. There was only one other Giant downfield as Chandler, with that breakaway thrust, was unable to kick free from Courier.
The New York defense has been most effective against the running game, but they have not been as effective against the pass. 65% of the passes thrown against them have been completed. Take a look down. Man in the shirt there walking over next to the coaches. We're going to keep an eye on him. He's got a very interesting job on that San Diego sideline. His name is Phil Tyne. He's a strength coach.
First down for the Chargers. Wide open is Winslow. And Winslow out of bounds at the 25-yard line with another San Diego first down. Mike Dennis, 46, made the hit.
Dan Fouts, it looked like Fouts went through half a dozen receivers on that play. There's Tyne on the sideline. Look at the signals going in. Now, Tyne will put himself between Dave Levy, the offensive line coach, and the other sideline to try and shield him while he's signaling in to Dan Fouts. They don't want the other coaches on the other sideline to see what the signals are. He has a second part of his job. We'll get to that later.
Winslow, and covered well deep in the end zone as Byron Hunt and Beasley Reese on the coverage. I guess we gave the score the Bears and Broncos inadvertently incorrect. It was the Bears winning that game 31-14. Ball at the 25-yard line. San Diego leads here 13-3, and we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
KCST TV, San Diego.
We're going to give you a little different look at the game from the end zone. A better look at the way the lines work, the way the plays open up. Give you a little better feel for what's happening on the line of scrimmage.
James Brooks at the 20. Oh, he absorbs quite a wallop and hangs onto the ball, diving to the 16-yard line, a gain of about 9. Larry Flowers of Texas Tech put a hit on Brooks. Brooks very strong. His upper body is that of a man 230 pounds. He really is well built.
Kellen Winslow, number 80, not only catches passes, he's not afraid to put his body on the inside. Jerome Sally, number 78, the Giant involved there. Good block on the outside by guard in front of Brooks. You saw that play, as we said, from the end zone. You saw that nice hole open up for Brooks. Made good yardage on it.
Here it is, that end zone shot. Some fans prefer this angle for this reason. You see the play develop. Well, it didn't for San Diego, as the Giant defense, Van Pelt and McGriff there to stop Muncie shy of the first down at about the 17. So Benerska, who is 2 for 2, successful from 40 and 37 yards, will try his third field goal of this half.
They call Curtis McGriff the run stuffer of that defense. He certainly played that play effectively. On the last play, you saw a hole open up for the San Diego Chargers. On that play, you saw a wall of blue jerseys. Great team pursuit. They would not allow the first down. Chance for the third shot of the day for Benerska.
35 yards, a fake. A first down as it goes to number 47, Sherman Smith, the former star runner with the Seattle Seahawks. He was the up back, and Don Coryell, a little peekaboo there to Smith, and a first down at the 13-yard line.
Kind of play you have in your book. You keep it there all year. You rarely run it. Watch the snap right here. Little fake. He's going to flip it up. That's almost a shovel pass to the up back on the opposite side coming across. That has to be perfectly executed to be effective.
That was Ed Luther's first pass of the season. He's 1 for 1. Fouts all kinds of time. Touchdown to Charlie Joyner. And the Chargers jump in front 19-3. So the fake field goal, as Coryell didn't want 3, gets the first down, and then Fouts on a roll, able to bullet the pass to Joyner just inbounds for the score, as Joyner has his third touchdown reception of this year. He just refuses to acknowledge his age. Joyner's 35.
Fouts does not roll out very often. Out to the outside, lots of time, fires a bullet. Looked like a sidearm pass. He doesn't usually deliver the ball that way.
That was a buggy whip. Benerska's kick is good, and with 3 minutes and 16 seconds left in the first half, the Giants were favored at the start of this game. The Chargers, needing a win desperately, have a 17-point lead. 20-3 in this first half with 3 minutes 16 seconds left before the intermission. Benerska kicks it off. Leon Bright deep, but they kick away from Bright again to Pittman. 14, 20, 30, and he's out to the 33, but a flag is down, where you would suspect the Giants were guilty of an illegal block. Ray Preston and Derry Nelson collaborated on the tackle, and now the penalty, illegal use of the hands against the Giants. By the way, Charlie Joyner's touchdown catch, that was a half a century for Joyner. 50 catches for score for the amazing little guy from Grambling. And he is now a teacher as well as just a fine receiver, working with the young receivers in San Diego.
Number 38, illegal block in the back during the run back. First down.
That's Mark Haynes.
Dan Fouts said it best about Charlie Joyner. He said, you know he'll get open, you know where he's going to be, and you know he'll catch the ball. What more could you ask?
That's right. Check out John Tuggle is penalized for the block. We'll be back. He didn't like that baseball cap, even though he's a pretty good baseball pitcher back in his days at Morehead State. He wants a helmet over his ears, but has lost the starting job, and he's not real happy about it. Brunner going to throw on first down. Screen to Woolfolk. A terrific run by Woolfolk, with Chargers ever so close throughout that run, and he finally is out to the 36-yard line, a gain of 18. Ken Green made the tackle.
Woolfolk with explosive acceleration, able to pick his way and pull his way through that Charger defense. Tremendous play, gets him a little breathing room, should build a little confidence for that offense.
2 minutes, 30 seconds left in the half. 20-3, San Diego leads. Carpenter. And Lyndon King bumps him out of bounds at the 45-yard line. A gain of about 9 more. Well, King, a former record holder. In fact, he still holds the record. World record for cow chip throwing. And he didn't use both hands in that one. He just used that sidearm overhead. And he got Carpenter out of bounds with a 2-hand shiver.
He was throwing a Carpenter on that one, Dick. Got him out of bounds. Not an easy job. Second and short. Throw away down. How conservative is the Giant offense?
Yeah, they go for the short yards. The sure first down to Carpenter out to the 49-yard line.
Great opportunity for play action pass, maybe something deep. You know you can come back and pick up the first down, but Coach Parcells on the far sideline. Ron Earhart, offensive coordinator.
And that's the 2-minute warning, so they'll have a chance to go over and discuss matters. They have 2 timeouts remaining in this first half, and they're down by 17. The San Diego Chargers in front 20-3. Being brought to you by Chevrolet, official U.S. cars and trucks of the 14th Olympic Winter Games. Chevrolet and you taking charge. By Goodyear, where you get guaranteed auto service. And by Southern Pacific, 41,000 people working in 18 industries all across America. Dick Enberg, Merlin, Olsen at Giant Stadium. The Giants, big winners on Monday night, but they trail 20-3 to the San Diego Chargers with 2 minutes remaining in the first half this afternoon. First down from the Giant 48. Brunner. And that's going to be Ernest Gray for a touchdown. 51 yards. Brunner to Gray. Gray's third reception for a touchdown this year. Butch Woolfolk shaken up on the play.
A little celebration going on, but Woolfolk still on the turn. Gray able to take advantage of some confusion in the secondary. You'll have an opportunity to see him run that down and in pattern. Freezing the corner right there. You see Woody Lowe coming into your picture from the backside. That's Ken Green, number 28, playing because of injuries in that secondary. And they're finally able to capitalize on a makeshift Charger secondary with a very, very big play here just before the half.
Ernest Gray from Memphis State, a number 2 pick back in 1979. 3 touchdowns passing this year for the Giants, and all 3 to Gray. And the Giants take a timeout. It's interesting, when the Giants kicked that record 56-yard field goal, Haji Sheik, on Monday night, they had only 10 men on the field. May have been the same problem this time.
I talked to Brad Benson. He was the guy that wasn't out there, and it was such a long shot. He assumed that they were going to send in the punter. Went to the sideline and just got in a conversation with the defensive coach, or the offensive coach. Came back out. He said, oh no. The only guy happier about that field goal going through the uprights than Haji Sheik was Brad Benson, who was on the sideline.
Got another line on the field goal. Joe Danello. Haji Sheik beat him out. He sent him a telegram of congratulations. What class? Let's go to New York. NFL 83.
Thank you, Dick Enberg. On this last day of the baseball season, big managerial changes. Frank Howard fired by the Mets. No replacement name. Harvey Keene will not manage Milwaukee next year. Renee Latchman will. And Charlie Fouts will go back upstairs. He'll not manage the Cubs. Back to you, Dick.
All right, and Haji Sheik has kicked the extra point, and it's 20-10, San Diego leading. 1 minute and 50 seconds left. Well, you know, the Chargers, even though they lead by 10, they'll be going for more when we return to now a very pleasant afternoon in New York.
Sideline talking to the defense. San Diego obviously doesn't want to see a repeat of that one.
20-10, Chargers in the lead. Plenty of time left before the half, and that's Brooks. Darting through to the 29-yard line. Fouts brings out the offense. Let's go back to the touchdown. Chargers very nearly deflecting it, then almost knocked each other out of the play as Gray went for the score.
Both Charger safeties on the bench. Tim Fox hurt last week, will be out 4 to 6 weeks. Bob Greger out during the first half of this game. Doesn't matter. See right there what happens when Ernest Gray catches the football. Too much speed for the Chargers secondary. Breaks away and puts it in the end zone.
As Fouts brought his team to the line of scrimmage, appears the Giants have called timeout. They didn't have enough men on the field or had the wrong people. D. Hardison, or is it Curtis McGriff, comes in. So with a timeout, Fouts will talk with Don Coryell on the sidelines. The Chargers, this is a rare experience for them to be ahead in the first half. They lead by 10. Coordinator with the Giants, former head coach at New England.
Normally he's upstairs. He's down seeing if he can get a chance to talk to Scott Brunner, get him pumped up for the second half.
Fouts looking for more. Muncie. And he's out across the 40-yard line to about the 42. Gain of around 14. Ernest Gray, the touchdown maker for the Giants, to pull within 10, 20 to 10. Here in East Rutherford, New Jersey, Giants Stadium will become the home of the New York Jets as well next year. And of course, a lot of attendant publicity. Jets and Giants and the Generals all playing here. New York doesn't have a team. Chuck Muncie being bumped by Hunt, or was it Taylor, and a flag is also down back in the backfield where Fouts threw the football.
We probably will have at least 2 penalties. There are actually 3 flags down altogether. We'll let the officials sort it out. One, I think, for offensive holding. I don't know what the other 2 are for, Dick.
Well, it appeared that the Giant defender bumped Muncie as he was covering, and Parcells arguing his case.
He's just a little adamant about what he saw down there, and he had a good view of it from the Giant sideline.
Gene Barth.
We have offsetting fouls, tripping penalties, 66 offense, defensive pass interference, number 57 will replay the down.
So Billy Shields tripping, and Byron Hunt interfering with the receiver. So they'll play it over with 1:05 left in the half, and the ball at the 42 of San Diego, first down. Chandler left, Joyner right. Only Brooks in the backfield behind Fouts. Chandler. And he's out of bounds inside the 45 of New York. 12-yard gain. Fouts to Chandler. 1:01, as you can see, remaining in this first half.
Bill Parcells made an interesting observation. He said the most important place on the field, most important spot on the field, is a spot 4 yards directly behind the snap of the ball when San Diego is on offense. He said, I want one of my players there with his hands in Dan Fouts' face to bother his timing. They haven't had it, Dick.
And he has good protection again and goes to Winslow. And he's down at the 25-yard line. And the Chargers are marching for more, leading 20 to 10 as Fouts picks up 20 more yards before Courier can make the tackle. San Diego calls time. 54 seconds left in the half. 10 points. The San Diego lead, but they're looking for more. And he broke his forearm in the preseason. A rapid healer, activated, back in the lineup. All-Pro the last 3 years. He's protected Fouts well again today. To the sideline to Chandler. In front of Haynes and out of bounds at the 16-yard line. 9 more yards for the Charger passing game. By the way, Lawrence Taylor is okay. He's back in the defensive huddle for the Giants.
Fouts, it appeared, bumped his arm on that last play. Watch Taylor. I believe he's isolated one-on-one on Wilkerson. Doug Wilkerson, 63, doing a good job of pushing him off to the side. There he is in the middle of your screen right there. Cast on that left arm now, and you see him using it to push Taylor away. Good job by the big offensive guard.
Leading 20 to 10, the Chargers, final minute, first half. Wide open is Winslow, and he has a touchdown. Oh, did he want the score? And Fouts is down again.
Dan Fouts paying heavily for that touchdown pass. George Martin, number 75, absolutely leveled Fouts. And Fouts suffering with that injured wrist on his left hand, injured thumb on his right hand, and still gets the ball to Kellen Winslow for a touchdown.
Winslow with tremendous desire to get in the end zone. Here's Fouts. He was unable to celebrate the score for this reason.
And the price of a touchdown right here. Fouts wants to call a timeout. Watch him when he gets over that initial shock of pain. He wants a timeout.
Benerska kicks the extra point to make it 27-10. Interesting about Martin's tackle of Fouts. They were saying hello to each other 3 hours before the game because Martin was the tight end at Oregon when Fouts was the senior quarterback.
Well, and you feel it there. Hello, old teammate. But here's another hello right there from Kellen Winslow. Right over the top of Beasley Reese into the end zone. Bad news here for the Giant faithful.
Winslow's first touchdown of the year. And the backup quarterback, San Jose State, Dan Fouts. However, he's going to have to drag him out with a derrick as Benerska, with 42 seconds left in the half, kicks it to Leon Bright. 10, 20, 30, and he's to the 33-yard line just as he was breaking free. Good tackle by Jim Jodat on the special teams for the Chargers, and one of the Chargers not getting up after that confrontation. Raymond Preston, 52. Let's go back to Dan Fouts to show you the presence of a big league quarterback.
Laying on the ground in intense pain. You see the pain there. But what happens as soon as he gets his senses back? He wants to stop the clock. He couldn't tell if the ball was in the end zone, wanted another shot at the touchdown.
Just in case Winslow had been tackled at the 2-yard line, he was calling timeout. Brunner, 35 seconds. Complete to the San Diego 48-yard line as Gray has another, a 19-yard pickup.
Young rookie linebackers pulled in a little bit. They've got to get deeper on that play. Good job by Brunner.
18 seconds to the sidelines. Complete again. Out of bounds goes Gray at the 40-yard line. And based on the 56-yard field goal by Haji Sheikh, they're already in field goal range. Picture postcard here at Giant Stadium. A crowd around 76,000 to see the offense of the Chargers against the tough defense of the Giants. It's been San Diego's first half thus far.
8 yards on that play as Brunner heads for the sideline to talk to Ron Earhart, offensive coordinator, and the red sweater there, right-hand side, Bill Parcells.
And while we have a break, let's bring you up to date on all the finals in case you've missed some. Quite a game the first half of our NBC doubleheader. The Redskins beating the Raiders coming from behind. Chicago a winner against Denver at home. Dallas down at halftime and trailed by 2 touchdowns, wins again, remaining unbeaten. Pittsburgh was behind, scared by Houston, won 17-10. Seattle, Chuck Knox's Seahawks have another win, 24-9 at Cleveland. San Francisco, they're 4-1, winning at New England 33-13. Philadelphia 28-24, a winner against Atlanta. Baltimore, they're 3-2 for Frank Kush, 34-31 at Cincinnati. 49 of those points for the Packers, an NFL record for a half, as they led at the half 49-7 and win 55-14. NFL 83 will have, there are many long exciting touchdown plays today. NFL 83 will have the scores and highlights for you at the intermission. Triple right formation for the Giants. 14 seconds left in the half. With 6 seconds left, Brunner finds Pittman all alone in the end zone.
Big Ben formation. They'd used their timeouts. 82. Lead man all by himself. A blown defense for San Diego. The one cardinal sin, you can't let him get behind you.
Haji Sheikh tacks on the extra point, and the injuries to Fox and to Greger hurting San Diego on that play. Obviously someone didn't know where they should have been.
You think there's a little emotion here, but watch what happens. He gets a little excitement. I think he did that on purpose.
He was going to do a little spin and tuck it between his legs and slam it. And he just decided to slide home safely head first. Boy, that emotionally is a big touchdown, Merlin, for the Giants.
You bet it is. And a big downer for the Chargers, who'd really had their own way here through much of the first half.
Now, Brunner, who had only 2 touchdown throws in 4 games, has 2 in this half, as the generous Charger defense gives up the scores, but San Diego nevertheless still leads by 10.
Coryell concerned. You know, it's not only the Charger defensive backfield that's been hurt. They've also had injuries in their defensive line. We mentioned that Bill Elko, the rookie, is starting at nose tackle. In fact, they had to revamp their whole rushing line, moving Ferguson over to right end, bringing Big Hands Johnson to the nose, and putting Leroy Jones into it.
James Brooks looking at that short kick. And Brooks down as the first half comes to an end. And the Giants will get the ball to start the second half. And that last touchdown allows this crowd to cheer the Giants off the field, despite the fact San Diego outscored them by 10 in the first half. NFL 83 coming up after these words. I'm with my own King Kong. Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen.
I wonder what it would feel like to be on top of that building. I'll tell you, the fans here have seen some real highs in this particular game. Some great passing from Dan Fouts, some real exciting throwing from Scott Brunner, something he hasn't done much of this year.
Well, for the Chargers, they were trailing an unbeaten leader in their division, the Raiders, but the Raiders have lost to Washington. Of course, Washington and Dallas remains unbeaten. The Giants trying to catch those 2 teams. So the Giants have their work cut out in the second half, down by 10, playing out of character.
They really are. You would expect them to come out, run, and then throw the ball when they have to. They put that aside, I think, feeling that they had to go after Fouts and his team. And of course, one question we would ask, Dick, is how long can Dan Fouts operate? He's in great pain, and you saw him on the ground several times, sacked once, knocked down several times. We said operating with a bad wrist, a sore right hand, and taking some real pressure. But he is a gamer. And I'll tell you, he's got our respect and that of the Giant defense, too.
Well, he won't take himself out. And Merlin, I kind of had the feeling when we saw Ed Luther warming up that with a 17-point lead, Don Coryell might have said, okay, Dan, sit down. Let's see if Luther can just get us the win in the second half. Now I don't think he can do that.
I don't think so either. The other question is, what is going to happen on the other side of the line? What are the Giants going to do? Are they going to continue throwing the football? Will they come back and try and establish a running game now in the second half? Interesting choice for Coach Parcells and Ron Earhart as offensive coordinator.
Brunner, as you saw, 207 yards passing in the first half and 2 touchdowns. We told you he had only 2 touchdown throws the entire season, the first 4 games. The Giants, with momentum on that last score, will get the kickoff to start this second half.
Halftime statistics as we watch a nervous Coach Bill Parcells. First downs heavily for the Chargers. Rushing yardage, total yardage, again, off to a big 250-yard, 56-yard, and that's a considerable edge, although the Giants did a good job of generating the passing yardage with 2 very big plays. A shot to Gray and shot to Danny Pittman.
It rained in the first quarter. Still heavy skies, but very pleasant evening in East Rutherford. Comes to Pittman at the 8. Danny Pittman, who scored the touchdown at the end of the first half. And Bruce Laird chases him down along with Bobby Duckworth. And the Giants will start from just about their 27-yard line. Let's reintroduce that Giant offense. Scott Brunner at quarterback. Rob Carpenter checked very well by otherwise generous San Diego defense. Butch Woolfolk, he was shaken late in that second quarter. We'll see how healthy he is. Ernest Gray, a touchdown maker. He comes out wide to the left. Missler slotted left. Mulledy tight end on the right side. It's Carpenter behind Brunner. And Brunner comes out throwing. Goes to Woolfolk. Tried to put a little move on, but there was no area to operate. He's to the 31-yard line and a gain of 4. Keith Ferguson, 76, made the tackle. Lyndon King was there as well. Ferguson, who is very light as defensive linemen go these days, at 6'5" and 241 from Ohio State.
5 rookies operating in that defense. Elko at the nose, the 2 linebackers, Green and Smith. We've got one of the rookies, both rookies on the corner, Bird and Walters.
Plenty of time. Wide open is Gray. 35. Out of bounds at the 40. Walters pushed him out of bounds. It's a first down, Giants. 15 yards on the play for Gray, who also has a touchdown in this game.
Chargers have to feel snake bit, Dick. They came in hoping they could cover the loss of Tim Fouts. Bob Gregor had to leave the game, and of course shuffling safeties that way creates problems, creates mistakes.
Plus Elko playing with Ackerman and Big Louis Kelcher both out with injuries. Carpenter. That's his best run of the game, about 7 yards out to the 47-yard line. Billy Ray Smith, 54, the rookie from Arkansas, made the tackle.
Get a quick peek at this as Carpenter fakes to his left, comes back to his right. Good blocking by his offensive line, gets outside, takes a couple of shots. There's somebody who'd like to have a uniform on today too, Dick.
Tim Fouts, he probably would have been in on that tackle. Former star at Ohio State. Second down and 3. Brunner going long. He's got a man, Woolfolk. But Bruce Laird picked him up as the pass seemed to die. Laird, number 30, in for the injured Bob Gregor. So both starting safeties from last week for San Diego, Tim Fouts and Bob Gregor, sidelined. Fouts with a fracture, he'll be out for at least a month, and Gregor was injured in the first quarter.
Jim Wagstaff, the defensive backfield coach of the Chargers, would love to have those 2 veterans back there to help the 2 rookies on the corner, but now he's got a couple of relatively inexperienced players in there, at least in terms of the last few games anyway.
Third down, a short 4. And there it is to Missler. Andre Young made the tackle at the 44-yard line. Young, one of those reserves, seeing duty with all of the injuries. He's from Louisiana Tech.
Number 85, Johnny Missler. He's the guy they'd like to get it to in the control situation. Tight pattern here, finds the opening in the defense. Number 49, Andre Young, gets there, but not until he's found himself room for the first down.
Looked like a late hit from Carlos Bradley, number 50. First down inside the Charger 45. Giants trail by 10, just starting the second half. Missler again. Hit hard, but holds on to the football as Woody Lowe, Mike Green, Danny Walters all in on the stop.
A bad equation for the Chargers, Dick. They're not getting any pressure at all on the quarterback. Scott sitting back there and picking them apart. No pressure coming from Elko in the middle. Handled one-on-one by the center, Humphrey. Leroy Jones, the first one to get there, but not until the ball is delivered and delivered on target by Brunner.
Second down 2. And close to a first down. With the dive goes Woolfolk. And it is a first down for the Giants, and this crowd getting into the game.
Well, they feel the pulse beginning to pound for these Giants. Rob Carpenter, number 26, not only carries the football, he has to block too, throwing himself at the legs of Bill Elko, number 90, doing a good job of keeping him out of the center. Watch Elko fighting off Humphrey, only to find himself on the ground after the block by Carpenter.
First down at the San Diego 33. Brunner down the middle. Terrific attempt by Missler, who juggled the ball, had it on his fingertips, could not pull it in, as he had beaten Danny Walters.
You can feel as if you're, well, maybe we can recruit you to play in the backfield for the Chargers defense. Walters making a tough choice, going for the interception, a bad choice as it turned out. He's lucky it wasn't a reception.
That has been his problem in the first 4 games with the Chargers. He's a gifted athlete, and he has a couple of interceptions, but if you always go for the ball, you're going to be beaten, and he very nearly was by Missler. Let's watch it from the end zone. Carpenter draw. And right into the arms of Bill Elko. He is the nephew His uncle is Frank Cush, a happy coach right now. The Baltimore Colts, after winning third game of 5 tries this year. Elko went to Arizona State when Cush was fired. He then transferred to LSU. He's collected rattlesnakes barehanded, wrestled with alligators. Someone once, there was a little accident and some damage. The car tried to run away. Someone said, get the license number. So Elko ran and ripped off the license plate. He's quite a character.
Well, he ripped off Rob Carpenter on that play. Stopped him for a little gain. In fact, a little bit of a loss there.
3rd down 11. At the 35. Going long and wide open. Interference. Andre Young. Mike Miller was the intended receiver. It'll be 1st and goal at the 2.
Mike Miller, a real flyer.
Defensive pass interference. 49. 1st down.
Had gotten past the secondary. Andre Young closing, makes no attempt to play the ball. The contact well before the arrival of the football. Good call by the officials. The ball placed down on the 2-yard line. 1st and goal.
The Giants just 2 yards away from cutting the San Diego lead to 3. Carpenter, the only running back. He gets the call. Dropped just shy of the goal line by big Leroy Jones. Activated a couple of weeks ago, and he and Carpenter exchanged pleasantries. Other games late today in the NFL. New Orleans leading Miami 10-0 in the 3rd. The Rams have a 4-point lead at home against the Lions in the 3rd quarter, and it's Kansas City by 7 over St. Louis in the 3rd. Here it's 27-17. 2nd and goal at the 1. The Giants trailing by 10. Good penetration by the Charger defense, and Carpenter is dropped just shy of the goal line.
Scott Brunner signaling to the sideline about a foot away. Big 78 Chuck Ian, one of the defenders, submarining hard in there. And it's the Chargers who are trying to rise up here and stop this goal line penetration by the Giants. A little bit of nervousness on the Giants sideline.
Bill Parcells. Both Carpenter and Woolfolk in the backfield in the eye. Woolfolk, and he didn't make it as Billy Ray Smith was one of the early men in on the hit, number 54. Boy, that'll make Papa proud. That's the kind of goal line defensive work he used to do with the Colts.
And you hear the crowd. They want to know what Bill Parcells is going to do, and he's going to go for it. 4th down, half a yard to go. This is a big payoff down, Dick.
The Chargers, who have not been able to stop the run effectively in the first 4 games, and they've stopped the Giants on 3 tries from the 2, and now the critical showdown. 4th and goal from the foot line. The Charger that they ran over is not up yet. Appears to be a cramp.
Carpenter hammering in behind Gordon King, that right tackle. They went in several times before they were able to get the yardage. Up close, you'll feel the contact on this one as Carpenter goes up and over the top. 58, Mike Green, the man who had a hold of his legs, but he's in the end zone.
The interference call setting it up at the 2, and on the 4th crack from the 2-yard line, Carpenter diving in for the score.
How did Bill Parcells feel about this crucial 4th down? I guess that's what he expected. He's shaking his head. This game has not gone in the way he thought it would from beginning to end.
Remember Rob Carpenter in that game against San Diego 4 years ago, the playoff 79, when Campbell was hurt and the Houston Oilers seemed to have no chance. Carpenter literally dragging himself on and off the field, scored the winning touchdown to get the Oilers advanced in the playoffs.
Dick, I saw him in the lobby of the hotel the night before that game. He was on crutches. He said he didn't know he could play. He went out and led his Oiler team to a victory over the Chargers. That's the last time these two teams played, and certainly one of the guttiest performances I've ever seen from a running back. He told me his ankle is not yet healed from that particular incident.
Now Haji Sheikh with the extra point. The injured player was Bruce Laird of the Chargers. He left under his own power. Kick is good. And the Giants, trailing throughout as much as 20-3, have pulled within a field goal. It's 27-24, 8 minutes, 49 seconds left, third quarter. Bruce Laird, we don't know how serious is his injury, but the Charger defense, deep defense, has been decimated by injury. Haji Sheikh, this crowd is really back into the game. James Brooks at the 6 for San Diego. He's at the 20, a flag is down, and Brooks is tackled at the 25, and the Chargers have a holding penalty. They'll have to start back at their 10-yard line, and listen to this crowd.
This is when it pays off to be playing at home, Dick. You can feed off the energy of a crowd like this.
Now the penalty takes it back to the 10, and Gene Barth will announce the culprit.
We thought he would.
He's not going to be heard without a microphone over this din. Laird, as we had suspected, had leg cramps and is okay. He will be back. Now Dan Fouts, he is the quarterback, starting the second half. First possession for the Chargers. He comes out throwing. Intercepted by Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor for the Giants. Back to the 17. Denying another, Lawrence Taylor, and that is his first interception of this year as he has the ball now deep in San Diego territory. The Giants have not led in this game.
A question of how long Dan Fouts would be able to hold up a pass that's just a little too low. Had that been an inch or two higher, it might well have been a reception.
First down from the 18. Carpenter greeted in the backfield as Keith Ferguson and Elko were in together, dropping Carpenter for a rare loss near the 20. It'll be second down and about 13. 27-24. San Diego's lead, 117 points, is down to 3.
Dick, the last 5 possessions going back and forth up down the field have resulted in touchdowns. Wow.
We've had 5 touchdowns in little less than a quarter's time. Brunner looking for 6 and had to throw that one away as pressure coming from Keith Ferguson. 7 minutes and 48 seconds left in the third quarter. Third down, Giants. Let's go to NFL 83.
Thanks, Dick Enberg. Len Berman in New York. Here's Dan Marino in the shotgun from Miami in New Orleans. As he's hit, the ball pops up, picked off by Reggie Lewis. Another score for the Saints. They lead 17-0 late third quarter. Back to Dick and Merlin.
And there's got to be plenty of noise in the Superdome, as there is here at Giants Stadium. Third down, 13. Brunner goes short. It is the tight end Mulledy, number 81, finally dragged down by Billy Ray Smith, shy of the first down, and Haji Sheikh on fourth down will come in to try to tie it up for the Giants. And they start chanting Ali, Ali. Kid from Michigan has won the favor of a very tough audience.
Well, he certainly has. Hasn't missed since his first try against the Rams, a rather shaky start. This young man has adapted well. Proved himself to be a real pro.
He really snaps into the ball.
He really does. He got a tremendous action, a lot of power at the bottom of that swing.
Well, remember, the Chargers tried a fake field goal in about this spot in the first half. 30 yards away. We have a new game. And a flag down. Now let's see. Will the Giants take the 3, or will they take the penalty and a first down?
That's personal foul. There may be a choice here. Now, do you take the points off the board and go for the touchdown? Depends on whether it was before the kick or after. Let's let the officials sort it out down there, but Parcells may have a choice to make here.
Officially, the 29-yard field goal is good if it appeared they ran into the kicker. Mr. Gene Barth is going to mark off the penalty and a first down, and the Giants will swallow the 3. They want the lead, and the crowd loves it. Obviously, the mic of Gene Barth is not functioning.
Personal foul, automatic first down, roughing. You'll see it coming from the other side, and it's a roughing penalty right there by Gil Bird on Ali Haji Sheikh. Better shot. Number 22 coming from the top of your screen right there. Knocks the kicker off his feet.
Actually, it was blocked into the kicker. The Chargers could argue that should not have been a penalty. We'll save that and show it again. Fumble. And who's got it? A pile up, and the Chargers say they recovered.
Bill Elmore, number 90.
Oh, up jumps the devil. They gambled. They had the 7 and then crapped out on the fumble on the next play.
There are coaches, Dick Enberg, there are coaches in the league, coaches around the country who say you never take those sure points off the board. You leave them up. Parcells elected to gamble, go for the 7, and the ball ends up in the possession of the San Diego Chargers.
Well, the rattlesnake catcher from Pennsylvania, Elko, just captured the ball, and San Diego still has the lead.
He's only 3.
Penalty again. Watch Bird, top of your screen. Does Pelt block him into? There's the contact. He actually blocks him into Haji Sheikh. Probably wasn't a penalty, and as it turns out, it penalizes the Giants because then they went for the 7 and gave up the 3. Fouts can't find Joyner. Ball at the 8-yard line after the 4th fumble recovery by the Chargers. That defense trying to collect its thoughts.
They're trying to figure out who's going to go in and play if somebody else gets hurt. Chuck Weber, blonde-haired coach at the back of that huddle. Coaches, linebackers trying to get those troops together. I figure they've still got the lead on the board by 3. They've got the ball. They've got to keep their act together and keep it moving.
Well, they've got an eternity to protect it, though. 6:48 left in the 3rd quarter. Chandler at about the 17 appeared to be short of a first down, and Fouts at his 1-yard line being surrounded by Giants, and the fans now boo on the spot of the ball. They feel too generous, and indeed is enough for a first down. 10 yards on the throw.
2 of the plays that we don't associate toughness with, quarterback and wide receiver. And this team has some people who will defy that. One of them right there, 14 Dan Fouts. The other one, this man, 89 Wes Chandler. Last week took a shot in the face, a couple of broken teeth, came right back and caught the football, stitches and all. He's doing it here again today.
Fouts back to the air to Joyner, and that one in part thrown away. There just wasn't an open man. Fouts, the all-time NFL record holder in 300-yard games. He comes into this contest with 33 of those. And thus far in the game, total yardage for Dan Fouts is about 85 yards shy of another 300-yard day.
We've allowed you to sit with our end zone camera a little bit during this game. Let's see if we can't enjoy the battle going on between the offensive lineman and the defensive lineman.
Well, not on that play, as there was movement before the snap. Illegal procedure, both technically with a microphone and with a Charger offensive line. That's 2 out of 2 microphones for Gene Barth, both broken. Don Coryell wondering.
Still not working. Maybe we can climb back in those end zone positions and look at that protection that is so crucial to a passing attack. And Fouts getting great protection today, as has Scott Brunner from that big offensive line of his.
Saints trying to hang one on Miami. 17-0. 2nd and 15 for Fouts to Muncie. And he's knocked out of bounds. Good lateral pursuit. Andy Hedden, number 54, good-looking rookie, 8th-round draft pick from Clemson. The number 1 pick for the Giants was also from Clemson, Terry Kennard. But Kennard, a bit of a disappointment, but not Hedden. He's tall, rangy, strong, 6'5", 230. Good man on pass situations.
Lawrence Taylor also pursuing from the backside, something he does very well, but not able to catch Muncie. Hedden took the short route. He got there.
3rd down, 5 at the 24. Fouts had a man open, but George Martin, who leads the Giants in sacks, his former college teammate, crushes Fouts, and he's hurt again. Martin, 75, made the play.
It's his right hand. It's the thumb that's bothering him now. Boy, I tell you, you want to talk about operating under a handicap. Not only with all those guys in the blue shirts chasing you and trying to get a hold of you, right there, they stripped it out of his hand. Martin from the backside grabs his wrist. Watch Martin reach in over the back here. Fouts will start the forward motion right there. Caught him by the hand. You saw what happened to the ball.
Maury Buford, his first punt, and he scuffs it. Takes a bounce, however, for San Diego. Leon Bright finally says, I'm not even going to touch that thing, and it's down by the Chargers at the 19-yard line. So Buford, when it left his foot, unhappy, a bad kick, but he got a generous roll, and it results in a 57-yard punt. No return. Will Fouts return. San Diego leads by only 3, and the Giants have the ball. 5:35 left, 3rd quarter. Back at Giant Stadium, Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen. When the Chargers play, you figure to get a lot of points. So it is today, 27-24. The key is, can you play defensive halfback? They're looking up here at you down at the Charger
I
bench.
want to tell you, the way things are going, they're going to recruit anybody. Even guys on crutches don't have a chance. They may put uniforms on them and send them in. But I think the crucial thing now is, can the Chargers secondary hold up? Scott Brunner will challenge them here.
Giants start trailing by 3 from their 19. Brunner goes to the air, and there's Missler. And he has a first down at the 32. The San Diego defense with 5 rookies. Bill Elko in the line. 2 linebackers, Smith and Green. 2 cornerbacks, Bird and Walters. They have not been able to stop the opposition, averaging 30 points allowed per game in the first 4. And the Giants have 24 already today, and we're in the 3rd quarter, 5 minutes left. 14 yards on that last throw by Brunner. Down the middle to Missler. And Missler was open. Pass a little too long at the San Diego 45. Dan Fouts, and got the jersey and the pads off.
That's the right shoulder. Now, you saw them swinging Fouts' shoulder over the top earlier. It's possible that on one of those early plays, and I think it was in the first half, he may have slightly separated that right shoulder. Now, that's the kind of an injury that you would see the shoulder taking the ice. Fouts obviously in pain.
Ed Luther, they say he's a good quarterback. We're about to find out.
Yeah, we are. Something else we're going to find out about it momentarily.
Brunner with all day, almost intercepted by Danny Walters, and he would have had a touchdown as Brunner pumping and took a little too long to get rid of it, and Walters timed his move perfectly.
You talk about injuries, Dick. San Diego has not only got problems with Fouts, but this week in practice, Luther sprained his right foot. So he's operating under a handicap, too. They've been very little said about it, but he was injured. And, of course, they were hoping they wouldn't have to go to the young man.
Luther.
Last opportunity to show his stuff in a regular season game, 1982.
Last year, he gets all of his work in the preseason, then Fouts takes the reins. 3rd down and 10. And Brunner misfires to Woolfolk. Threw behind him, and the Chargers are going to get the ball. One of the rare times the Giants offense has been stopped today. And Dave Jennings, only the 2nd time he has punted in the game, comes in.
Giants, again, as we said, have been out of character throughout this day. They are a running team. They've been constructed to run the football primarily behind Rob Carpenter. Here today, they've operated as a passing team, trying to take advantage of the injuries to the San Diego defense.
First punt was 32 yards for Jennings. Only Brooks is back at the San Diego 24. End over end and short. No fair catch. Almost hit one of the Chargers downfield, and the Giants down it at the 33. Jennings not happy. He's going to be cheering for Carlton Fisk. Fisk, a distant cousin, playing in the baseball playoffs here on NBC, and we'll be back at Giant Stadium. It is his 65th consecutive game today. A durable quarterback, but he is out for the rest of this one with that shoulder injury. We don't know how serious. And Ed Luther, in his 3 years with the Chargers, has thrown the ball only 22 times in regulation play. He comes out throwing and guns it complete. Eric Sievers at the 41-yard line. Luther, who was 11 for 22 in his 3 years of relief with the Chargers, 3 interceptions, no career touchdowns, but they feel they've got a good one. In fact, Luther is really frustrated by the fact he's playing behind Fouts, and Fouts has just signed a 6-year contract. What does the reserve do?
Well, if beginnings mean anything, he started it out right with a completion. A ball thrown right on target. And Dick, there goes Dan Fouts to the locker room. I imagine they're going to x-ray that shoulder and check it out.
And listen to the hand by the Giants fans. Sportsmanlike as they, and there's the fumble. And Ed White is able to fall on it and try to get up. But White says, wait a minute, maybe I don't want to run with it. Fouts, that long walk to the locker room. One of the NFL greats, and hopefully not seriously hurt.
We certainly would hope that he's not injured. This is one of the things that can happen to a young quarterback going into the game. He's so anxious to get going. He wants to pull out of there before the ball arrives. You see it right there. He started back. Luckily for him, Ed White was dropping back in pass protection, and White is trying to make like a halfback.
He gained a yard.
Gained a yard.
Third down, 3 for Ed Luther from San Jose State. 6'3" and 210. Great throw to Muncie, 50, 40, and Muncie is out of bounds at the 40-yard line, and a penalty flag on the Giants for a tackle out of bounds. And Luther, as he was going to be hammered by Brad Van Pelt, with a perfect throw leading his halfback Muncie upfield.
Mike Dennis and Beasley Reese both in there late. Don't know which one was ticketed. Give them a chance to make the call. But Dick, 2 things happen. When you have a number 2 quarterback go into the game, and it's almost instantaneous. The first thing that happens, the offensive players and the defensive players suck it up a little bit. Let's see if the microphone is working here. No, still not working. The second thing that happens, Dick, is that very often the defense lets down. And it's almost a strange phenomenon. You see it happen again and again and again. But what a great throw by Luther. He doesn't need a letdown by the defense. And there's the shot right there. Mike Dennis, 46, the one that hit him.
So after the penalty, first down at the 25, Luther to Winslow, and Winslow is inside the 15. So Ed Luther, replacing All-Pro Dan Fouts, comes out 3 for 3 passing, and has used 3 different targets and has a first down inside the Giant 15.
Well, this young man has had the reputation for a long while of being perhaps the best backup quarterback in the NFL. And as we said, because of Fouts' durability, has not had many chances to show his stuff. But when he has been able to play, he has played effectively.
And it didn't appear that foot bothered him on that rollout. He's 4 for 4. Muncie knocked out of bounds. No gain. Somebody losing a shoe blocking out in front. Ed White lost his left shoe.
Talking to San Diego coaches about L.T. Taylor, number 56, and they said the thing that astounds them about him is the way he gets away from blockers. You saw it there, leaping over the top of the blocker. I believe it was Eric Sievers, 85. They said he has a great motor. He never stops. He plays every play at full intensity.
237 pounds. Watching him throw the football yesterday in practice, he can throw the ball 70 yards. He's just a great athlete with tremendous desire. 2nd and 11.
had both Joyner and Chandler in the same area and may have thrown the ball just a bit too soon. That's the first incomplete pass thrown by Luther. We have 2:07 left third quarter. Chargers 27, Giants 24.
And you sense in this quick drive by the Chargers an opportunity perhaps to quiet this crowd and maybe to take some of the wind and some of the enthusiasm out of the Giants. They need to get some points on the board to do it.
Mark Wilson was the top quarterback drafted back in 1980. Luther was a 4th round pick, the first choice for San Diego. 3rd and 11. Timeout called by Kellen Winslow. That was interesting. Winslow, now in the old days they would not have been able to call time, but now anyone on the field can call a timeout. Winslow said we're in the wrong formation. He wanted to keep Luther out of trouble. We'll be right back. In relief, injured Dan Fouts. Should Luther be hurt, 3rd string quarterback Bruce Matheson, a rookie from Nebraska. He threw the ball only 33 times for the Cornhuskers. He was a 10th round pick. This is 3rd and 11. They're coming. And wide open is Joyner. And that's going to be close to a first down as Joyner takes a pop from Bill Courier, and it appears that's going to be good enough for a first down. And you have to say this about Luther. He's seeing a lot of blue jerseys charging in on him, maintaining his poise.
But let's give some credit to the old pro, Charlie Joyner. Look at the way he goes up and takes this pass slightly underthrown and protects it with his body. Took a great shot from Courier, would not give up the football, had the first down. They put in the troops again. They're going to try and punch it in. Boy, this touchdown would be a big shot in the arm for the Chargers.
3rd catch today for Joyner, 18th of this year. 1st and goal. Muncie. Touchdown. And Muncie appears to be shaken. So Chuck Muncie, his 2nd touchdown rushing today, is 36th as a Charger, and San Diego builds its lead back up to 9, and Brunner in to try the extra point. Well, that was a most impressive drive by young Ed Luther.
And again, I think, Dick, the feeling, the sense of what can happen to a team when a number 2 quarterback goes in the game. The Chargers suck it up. You see it here. Watch Kellen Winslow, number 80, is going to block on this play. Absolutely nails Mark Haynes. Takes him 7 yards into the backfield and puts him on the ground.
Brunner's kick is good, and Ed Luther, in his most serious opportunity to perform in the NFL in 4 years, comes off the bench, 66 yards. This is the 8th play, 2 yards by Muncie for a touchdown, and San Diego leads the Giants 34-24.
Muncie absolutely lowering his shoulder and going right over the top of number 28, Beasley Reese, carrying him into the end zone.
Well, he used all of his weapons. Joyner and Winslow and Sievers.
And Ed White, number 67, is a running back there one time.
That was a key play. The one mistake he made was covered by Ed White as it took a San Diego bounce right into the guard's hands. Well, great day of football. A doubleheader today on NBC was outstanding. We hope you've enjoyed it. Next week we have for you the Jets at Cleveland. Buffalo plays Miami. Denver at Houston. Other games, New England at Baltimore, and the late game, Seattle at San Diego. And of course, you'll also be enjoying, if the playoff series in baseball goes 5 games, we'll have that for you as well. So it could be a very big weekend of sports on NBC again. Well, that Baltimore club, they're 3-2 and going to be a factor apparently.
All the folks who laughed at Frank Kush may have to do some reevaluating here.
Rolf Brunner kicks it off. Leon Bright is deep. It goes to Pittman at the 1. Whoa! Pittman, with flags down, is out to the 25-yard line, and Ray Preston makes another tackle on special teams for San Diego.
Number 55, Derry Nelson, went down there and just plowed into Leon Bright and drove Bright right into the ball carrier.
Holding against the Giants, so they'll start deep in their own end as Luther, he's calling short distance.
Chance for you to see this special teams play. Watch Derry Nelson, 55, right over the top of Leon Bright and drives him right into Pittman, stopping the runner right there. Preston finally coming over to finish off the tackle.
Run back. First down.
Gene Barth, yeah, the equipment's working now, the referee.
So he calls the 10-yard penalty. Derry Nelson, the linebacker, he's checking out the phones. First down, Giants at the 15.
I'm sure getting some congratulations on that big play.
Brunner to Woolfolk. Well read by Jones, but he breaks that tackle and then is tackled forward to the 17-yard line by Keith Ferguson. Also in the play was Bruce Laird. Well, baseball coming up Tuesday night. It opens the National League Championship Series. Philadelphia will be at Los Angeles. Then on Wednesday afternoon, the American League will start as Baltimore hosts the White Sox. So stay with us throughout the coming week. The American and National League Championship Series on NBC. Don Coryell's Chargers leading here against the Giants 34-24. 20 seconds left, third quarter. Woolfolk hit immediately by Mike Green. Young man from Oklahoma State has played another solid game. He certainly is a sure tackler.
He is a good tackler. And boy, the defense has a tremendous amount of pressure. Injuries have forced them to use a lot of people who have not played a great deal. And they've done a good job.
And the third quarter comes to an end here in East Rutherford. At the end of the third period, the score, San Diego 34, the Giants 24. Be back after these messages, your local station. Giant Stadium, and today's game is brought to you by Jeep Cherokee and Jeep Wagoneer. When it comes to four-wheel drive, one word says it all: Jeep. By MCI Mail, the nation's new postal system. And by Anheuser-Busch St. Louis, Brewers of Michelob. Some things speak for themselves. Well, the Giants, most points they had allowed in their first four games, 28 to Dallas, and you'll recall that was a 14-13 game, and a pass interception and a fumble got the Cowboys 14 points in 12 seconds, but they've allowed 34 today to San Diego and find themselves down by 10 as we open the fourth period. It's third down and 3. Elko, little toe dance, and it'll be a first down for Brunner, and the Giants, as Missler has the catch at the 30-yard line. Brunner is out past the Chargers so far. Let's go to NFL 83.
Okay, thank you, Dick Enberg. And in New Orleans, the blitz is on against rookie Dan Marino. He reads it and hits Mark Duper. 4 minutes left. Miami has the ball back. They still trail by 10. Back to the Meadowlands.
Ron Phillips Saints showing that they are a serious contender this year. Brunner on first down goes the other way, and Ernest Gray is open. Woody Law makes the tackle at the 37-yard line. An awkward catch by Gray, and he's slow getting up.
Dick, just an indication of the kind of, we said that the Giants are out of character today. Well, they've gotten just 32 yards rushing on the year. They've averaged 154 yards rushing per game, and yet their passing attack has just been devastating today. Not the trademark of the Bill Parcells team.
Brunner has thrown for 280 yards. San Diego for only 262 only. Now Brunner's had plenty of time to work on that back pedal. And he is short of the first down at the 39-yard line. A yard shy of the first down. Elko trailing the play made the tackle. Other scores, game still in progress. New Orleans, as you just heard on NFL 83, and Len Berman 17-7 leader in the fourth quarter. Rams holding on to that 4-point advantage in the fourth period out in Anaheim. And it's Kansas City now winning big against St. Louis. The Chiefs certainly have been an up and down team. Knocked out last week, but coming back today. Don Coryell's team, they're 1-3 at the start. The Giants, in Bill Parcells' terminology, we've been in the pack too long. Not the worst teams, but not in the high echelon either. We want to get out of the pack, and a win today to make us 3-2 gives us a chance to shove forward and really be a serious playoff contender. They trail by 10. The Chargers, desperate, don't want to go to 1-4. It'll be a first down to the 41-yard line, and you could hear the pads pop as Carpenter absorbed a 3-man defensive charge. Chuck Ian, number 78. Ken Green, 28, in on the tackle. 1 o'clock finals today. Some of you have been just getting back from perhaps a Sunday around this country. Perhaps missed a great one on NBC. The Redskins beating the Raiders 37-35. It was the Bears over Denver 31-14. Dallas came from behind at Minnesota to win 37-24.
Houston had a lead at Pittsburgh, but the Steelers prevailed 17-10, and it was Seattle winning in Cleveland 24-9. First down, screen, Woolfolk. And he's dropped at the 49-yard line. Good tackle by Andre Young, and that's close to another Giant first down. 9 more yards. Brunner to Woolfolk. The rest of the finals played earlier today in the National Football League. San Francisco winning by 20 at New England. Philadelphia 28-24 at Atlanta. Baltimore 34, Cincinnati 31, and that game was in Cincinnati. Baltimore's 3-2. And Tampa Bay still looking for a win, and they were smothered by Green Bay 55-14 in the game, which the Packers scored 49 points, an NFL record in the first half. 2nd and 1. All day for Brunner. And Ernest Gray has a first down at the 21. Andre Young made the tackle. 30 more yards for Brunner. He's over the 300-yard mark.
It's simply a bad equation for the Charger defense. With a patched up secondary, you can't give any quarterback as much time as they've been giving Brunner. Brunner able to take that opportunity to throw it to his #1 deep threat, Ernest Gray. Watch it right here, right down the center, finding the open turf. Andre Young finally chasing him down, but that's a big play down on the 21-yard line.
58 points scored in this game. They're obviously not through yet. Ball at the 21, first down Giants. Trailing by 10. Brunner into the end zone. Danny Walters just got a piece of it and deflected it through the arms of Pittman.
Danny Pittman ready to do his slide on the sideline again. Sensed the opportunity for another touchdown. Ball just, I believe, just touched by Walters as he leaped for it. You'll see for yourselves here. Gets up and just off his fingertips, deflecting the ball enough to keep it out of Pittman's hands. The youngster dodged a bullet there. Woof.
Rams have added to their lead 21-10 in the 4th quarter. Well, Pittman, former Wyoming Cowboy, he almost lassoed his second touchdown, but Walters' fingernails were just long enough. 2nd and 10.
It's a blitz.
Brunner. Mulledy. Tom Mulledy, his first touchdown of the season, and the Giants pull to within 4.
It's been a long afternoon for the Chargers secondary. Don Coryell knows that his troops have been hurt, wounded, playing their hearts out. They came with a blitz. Brunner able to slide to the outside. Head-to-head, Elko out there kept him from running the ball. He fired it deep, put it right in the hands of number 81, Mulledy. Big, big play.
Haji Sheik with the extra point try. And the Charger lead is carved to a field goal at 34-31. Scott Brunner, 27 for 40 today, 340 yards, no interceptions, and this his 3rd touchdown throw. Boy, off balance, looped it up there and right into the basket of Mulledy. A 3-point game. And Tom Mulledy with 3 catches and now has a touchdown. It's 34-31. Kickoff to Brooks at the 4-yard line. Mike Dennis at the 20. And Larry Flowers is lucky he didn't pick up a penalty for piling on, as he really came in with a little forearm. It'll be first down, San Diego at the 20. Let's go back to the touchdown, Merlin.
You almost sense here that Brunner would rather have run this football than throw it. But at the last minute, he retreated, launched it high and deep, and he couldn't have put it more accurately into the hands of number 81, Tom Mulledy. What a pretty play.
Incredible throw. Now the Chargers with the ball with 10 minutes, 9 seconds left. Ed Luther for the injured Dan Fouts is the quarterback. To Winslow. Only 4 yards. Winslow
hit, tried to get to his feet, but Mark Haynes was all around him. Haynes, the All-Pro from Colorado, #1 pick in 1980 for the Giants.
Because of all the passing, this game stretching on, but I don't believe you're going to see anybody running for the exits. They got them here. And
34-31. It certainly has been most entertaining. Dan Fouts injured in the third quarter, forced to leave. Ed Luther drove his team to a touchdown on the first possession. 2nd down and 6. Screen to Chandler. Finds an opening. And he's all the way to the 47-yard line. Oh, that Wes Chandler in the open field. He is a beauty to watch.
When Wes Chandler came to San Diego to replace John Jefferson, a lot of uproar about this young man, that they said the one thing he can do better than any other receiver in football is run after the catch. And you see it right there. Tremendous courage, acceleration, the instincts of a running back. Made big yardage after the catch.
Well, he's such a tough, at 180 pounds. That one tackle should have brought down most 180-pound receivers, but not Chandler. Stayed on his feet, gained 10 more. He's wide to the right, Joyner to the left. 1st down, Charger 47. Luther guns it complete to Sievers at the Giant 48-yard line. Lawrence Taylor, number 56. Big play Taylor in on the tackle. 5 yards on the play, and Taylor was shaken early, limping again.
We had him off to the side one time earlier in the game. Looks like it possibly could be a hamstring or something high up in the back of that. Maybe a pull, perhaps.
Ed Luther, 2nd and 5. 8 minutes left in the game. Chargers lead 34-31. Under pressure, unable to get it to Wes Chandler. A flag is down where you would suspect holding against San Diego.
Very few penalties on either offensive line today, and let's give these offensive linemen credit. One of the basic ingredients for a good passing game, good pass protection, and both teams have protected their passers well today. I think particularly impressive for the Giants, whose offensive line has been much maligned here in New York.
Yeah, those are Rich Humphrey, the center, Billy Yard, and J.T. Turner, the guards. Turner, a movie star, by the way. We'll get to that later. Brad Benson and Gordon King, the tackles.
62 offense, holding, still 2nd down.
It's Don Masick, the center of the Chargers. Veteran Doug Wilkerson out with a broken arm, returning to the Charger lineup is at left guard. Ed White. Between them, they have 29 years of NFL experience. Andy Gissinger and Billy Shields, the tackles. 2nd, 15, in it. Beasley Reese. Ed Luther runs him out of bounds. And here come the Giants. So each team with 4 turnovers, and the Giants have the ball. 1st down inside the San Diego 27.
This can kill you. The mistakes. Young man just did not see Beasley Reese. Reading the receiver and the defender running with him, Kellen Winslow, did not see Reese.
Give to Carpenter. And he bolts his way to the 20. The Giants, down by 3, are already in field goal range, but looking for a touchdown that would give them the lead. They have not led in this game, have trailed by as much as 17 at 20-3 back in the 2nd quarter. It's now 34-31 San Diego.
Charger defense been pressured and stretched, having to work with makeshift combinations. They're badly hurt. Let's see if they have enough character to stop the Giants here.
Brunner trying to gun another touchdown throw to Ernest Gray. Just a little high and wide. 3rd and 4.
Brunner like to add to the statistics of what must be his best game ever as a pro. Had an open receiver, got the ball there, but just over the outstretched fingers of Ernest Gray.
So a big call here on 3rd down, and they'll make it 3. Actually, it's a long 3. They have to get inside the 21. Haji Sheik will come in to try to tie it up for the Giants. We have a final and late game. New Orleans has upset Miami 17-7. A big win for the Saints against Don Shula's Dolphins.
You had to wonder if they were going to be able to come back after that tragic loss last week to the Dallas Cowboys. They did it today.
Haji Sheik, who has kicked 8 in a row, trying to tie it up at 34. It would be a 37.5-yard attempt. Six minutes, 53 seconds left. We start all over, tied at 34. 53 seconds remaining. Ali Sheik's fan club is here, of Iranian descent. He nails one to Brooks at the Charger 2. And Brooks is down at the 22. Paul Davis, just acquired by the Giants from the Atlanta Falcons, made the tackle. Dick Enberg, Merlin Olsen. We welcome those of you who have seen the New Orleans Saints upset the Miami Dolphins 17-7. You like offense? Well, do we have a game here at Giant Stadium? The Chargers and the Giants back and forth, 34 all. Dan Fouts was injured, left the game in the 3rd quarter. Ed Luther, who has seen rare duty, now facing a tough Giant defense, although they've given up 34 today, and a noisy crowd of 76,000. Chargers ball at the 22, 6:44 left in the game. Going deep, Charlie Joyner at the 45 of the Giants. And you have to say this for Don Coryell. He just has obviously told Luther, let's go right for something big, and they get it to Joyner, 32 yards.
And you've got to admire Ed Luther. After an interception that tied the game up, got 3 points for the Giants. He comes right back, throws it down the seam to the veteran Charlie Joyner. They pick up the big 1st down. They move into Giant territory, and Luther has played well, except for his one mistake, the interception.
1st down at the Giant 45. Only Muncie behind Luther. Muncie sweeping left. And big Chuck Muncie barrels down to the 36-yard line. A 9-yard pickup. 5:51, 5:50, 5:49 left in the game. Giants have 34, and so do the Chargers. The Giants have never led. In fact, San Diego built a 20-3 lead in the middle of the 2nd quarter. It was 27-10, and then just before halftime, with 6 seconds left, Brunner hit Pittman on a 40-yard touchdown to make it 27-17. Giants have rallied to tie at 34. Ralph Brunnerska, the field goal kicker for the Chargers. Muncie to the 34-yard line. That'll be enough for a 1st down. Veteran Brad Van Pelt from Michigan State made the tackle.
One of the problems that a backup quarterback always has, especially in a system that relies so heavily on the timing of a Dan Fouts, he never gets much practice time. And you kind of get the feeling in this ball game that Luther is a little rusty on some of the basics. He missed a snap earlier in the game. Luckily, it was recovered by Ed White. He also has had a chance to show us a few interesting handoffs. I would hope he wouldn't drop one on the ground here.
1st down at the 34. Almost intercepted as Van Pelt tipped the ball right into a crowd, but no one saw it. Dan Fouts, who started the game with an injured thumb on his throwing hand, a painful wrist injury on the left side, and then left the game with a right shoulder injury, has not returned. We don't see him on the sidelines. Undoubtedly is watching back in the training room of the Chargers and rooting for his substitute.
Ed Luther from San Jose State.
Coryell is intense as ever on the sideline. There is a shot from earlier. You can sense the pain. That was before he went to the locker room earlier.
2nd and 10. It's Muncie with a big hole, and Muncie might go all the way. He does. Touchdown. And did you see little Charlie Joyner downfield throw the final block, shielding the last Giant and allowing Muncie an avenue down the sidelines?
And the first man to reach, Chuck Muncie, in the corner of the end zone, the man who threw that block for him, and you feel instant quiet in Giants Stadium.
Muncie's 3rd running touchdown today, 34 yards. That quiets the crowd. I'd hate to recap the scoring in this game. We'd be here till 8:30.
Here's a chance to watch a great run. Watch Muncie run out of 1 tackle, a 2nd tackle. Now watch the block right there. Number 18, Charlie Joyner, springing him.
Benerska hits the extra point, and with 4 minutes and 32 seconds left in the 4th quarter, the Chargers are back in front by 7. You see it again. Ed White is 67.
57 right there. Byron Hunt, the first man to miss him. 28. Beasley Reese, a shot at him. 46.
Mike Dennis.
Mike Dennis down here had a chance. He was too busy looking at Charlie Joyner. Never did see the runner.
Turn out their hands here. The Giants trailing, get the ball. 41-34 the score.
John Tuggle, last man drafted. First man with the ball here. Good return.
Former California player, 335th in the draft. There's the scoring drive. 5 plays, 77 yards. Muncie with a payoff, rushing for the touchdown. It's first down now. Giants in their turn at their own 31-yard line. Scott Brunner. Could well be his biggest day as a pro, but he trails by 7. He's going for the bomb. And it's intercepted. Danny Walters with a relatively easy interception. Mike Miller, 89, was the intended receiver. And San Diego has the ball with 4:14 left. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Giants and the National Football League is prohibited.
5 Giant turnovers, 4 Charger turnovers, a heavy number of fumbles, and in part caused, I think, by a slick football. We had a great deal of rain early in the ball game, but big turnovers on interceptions late. One by Luther, and of course that big turnover to Danny Bird, rookie left corner, who got himself in front of that one comfortably. Not a good pass by Brunner. He has thrown some beautiful passes today. That was not a good pass.
Was Gilbert's first pro interception at the 24. Muncie gets a couple and will chew on the clock. 4:05 left. Here are all the other scores for you. Washington beat the Raiders 37-35. Chicago wins 31-14 against Denver. Dallas rallies to beat Minnesota 37-24. Pittsburgh won 17-10 at home against Houston. Seattle at Cleveland. It was the Seahawks 24-9. San Francisco bombed New England 33-13. Philadelphia outscored Atlanta 28-24. New Orleans has beaten Miami 17-7. Green Bay 55-14, winning against Tampa Bay 49 points in the first half. And it was Baltimore winning at Cincinnati 34-31. Luther to Chandler. And good coverage by Dennis. Incomplete down at the Giant 30.
Both offensive coordinators reaching for a big play out of the hat. Luther getting his down the sideline. And ball was out of bounds when it was touched by Chandler. Not much chance. Good coverage on the play by the Giants. 3rd and about 8 yards to go. Giants making a few changes. Van Pelt out. 79 Hardison out. They put Martin in to rush the passer.
Gamey call by Coryell, Merlin, to
Gamey call, yeah.
He could chew on the clock. Instead, he stops the clock with the incomplete pass as he went for the bomb.
Well, he may second guess that call later on.
Yeah, doing what they do. He throws to Joyner, and a flag is down. Byron Hunt
was all over Ed Luther.
And we probably got a holding call there. They'll be refused because it'll bring up a 4th down. They'll kick the ball away, and the Giants are going to have another chance to shine here, Dick.
And because of the try at the pass, there'll be plenty of time for Bill Parcells' offense. 3:19 left. In comes Leon Bright.
Do you go after the kick here? You try and block it. You look up at the clock. Got a lot of room. You don't want to make a mistake and give the ball back to San Diego. I think you take your chances with Leon Bright.
Leon Bright just activated for this game. Bill Parcells very fond. He's known him since a youngster. Recruited him when Parcells was an assistant at Florida State. Buford only his 2nd punt today. Bright, who has helped to win 3 games in 2 years with his kick returns, he gets a chance here, and it's a short kick.
Bad kick. No
37. Flag down. Bright is to the 49, but there is a flag down at the 44-yard line. Dick Enberg, Merlin Olsen, Giants Stadium. Rained early, very pleasant evening, and it's been a delightful presentation by these two teams who have refused to stop one another. 41-34 the score. First camera will follow as soon as we complete this game at Giants Stadium.
The way these two teams are playing, that may be quite a while, Dick.
Illegal block in the back. Number 37 on the run back. First down.
Larry Flowers. And so the Giants will start from their 35-yard line. There is a timeout. 3 minutes, 7 seconds left. The Giants have the ball, and a touchdown would tie it at 41. Sellout. Some folks elected not to come out, and they missed the honey. From the 35, the Giants will begin with 3:07 left in the game, trailing 41-34. Brunner. He goes short to the 43-yard line. What are your thoughts, Merlin, with 3 minutes to go?
We build this game as a classic matchup between great offense, the San Diego offense, great defense, the Giants defense. It may have boiled down to Giant offense against Charger defense in the final few minutes. A Charger defensive team that has been hurt. They've got 5 rookies on the field. 2 of their safeties, regular safeties, out of the ball game with injuries. And it's a match now of heart. 4th quarter, it's all down to this.
2nd and 2. Oh, the Giants were fortunate there. That ball bouncing free and dangerously close to an interception by Gilbert.
A game of inches and fractions of inches, and Gilbert was wishing his arms were about 4 inches longer on that play. You can empathize with the youngster who's had some tough sledding in his rookie campaign, but came up with a big interception here early, and that one bounced out of his hands. He wishes he could go back and get a hold of that one more time.
Brunner had Gray open, just overshot him. 3rd down and 2. Rob Carpenter. He's out of bounds at the San Diego 49 with a first down. Stops the clock with 2:19 left. Ken Green, former Cardinal.
Matter of determination, courage. Carpenter does not have a big day. He comes off 3 back-to-back 100-yard rushing games. But the Giants have been a throwing team today. Out of character, perhaps, but very successful. I think they may have thrown away the book. Felt they had to go to the air to match the Chargers.
Flag is down. We may have holding. Tackle made by Mike Green of Woolfolk at the Charger 44, but the penalty is against the Giants.
Chargers would like to put pressure on Brunner. They've got 3 men on the field rushing, occasionally blitzed, but with all the changes and injuries in their defensive backfield, they're scared of isolating their people one-on-one. They've had to try and get the pressure with their defensive linemen, and just 3 at a time. That's tough.
Number 60 offense, holding, still first down.
Brad Benson, the left tackle, Penn State. They played here yesterday and had a win against Rutgers. Bill Parcells, we asked him about those coaches that had influenced him most. And the first name that came out was not a football coach. He said Bob Knight, a coach there football when Knight was the basketball coach. And I've always sought out his advice, and wisely so. Carpenter at the 46-yard line. Of course, that's short yardage after the penalty. You saw the final. Let's check on that one again. 2-minute warning. We have 2 minutes left. The Giants have the ball. 2nd down and 15 with San Diego leading by 7. Injured Dan Fouts. And those are impressive numbers despite the 1 interception. He came on the field his first series, drove his team to a touchdown when it appeared everything was crumbling for San Diego. Luther is an avid cyclist. He has ridden a bicycle from Seattle all the way to Los Angeles. He's just trying to do a little more pedal work here at Giant Stadium and give the Chargers a necessary win. They're 1-3 coming in here today. Brunner, meanwhile, is trying to rally the Giants to a tie. 2 minutes left. 2nd and 15, all day to throw. Ernest Gray picks it off at the 36-yard line of San Diego. 18 more for Gray and a Giant first down.
Again, good protection. You can't give a quarterback this kind of time. Ernest Gray goes out, dips in behind Missler right there. Mike Green, number 58, turned his back on the quarterback. He's got to get over there and get his hands up.
1:25 left. The clock is running. Brunner going on top to Miller. Oh my, it should have been intercepted by Gil Bird, but Bird let it get away. Not a good throw by Brunner. He's glad to get it back.
Brunner's had a couple of bad passes in this half. 1 interception, and this one should have been intercepted. Bird, I think, so relieved that he was going to have a shot at it rather than Pittman that he let it get out of his hands, and he ends up diving into the photographers there and rolling up on a big long zoom lens.
Bird, a mentally tough, very bright Herman Alexander type is the way he was described by Fouts.
Good news from the locker room. Dan Fouts has a bruise, a muscle bruise on the shoulder, and not a separation.
2nd and 10. Open. John Missler. First down at the 11. Timeout, Giants. Missler comes up limping after a 24-yard catch. Brunner calling time with 1:10 left.
The drama builds. You'll get a chance to feel this one coming right into your lap. A toss right there. Missler across the middle. Ken Green, 28, gets a piece of him. Missler goes to the sideline limping, but he has the first down. He puts the ball on the 12-yard line. New York Giants down by 7 with an opportunity to score.
Brunner threw 51 passes last year, the most ever for him in an NFL game. He's thrown 49 times today, completing 31. As you see, Missler catching 8 of those, and it's first down Giants at the 12. 1 minute 10 seconds left. A touchdown and extra point would tie the game at 41.
Just looking ahead a little bit, Dick. 1:10 left in the game. Chargers gave up one of their timeouts early. Fouts, of course, out of the game. Luther made a mistake on the formations. 2 timeouts left for the Giants.
This crowd of nearly 74,000 ready to roar again. The Giants were once behind 20-3. Showed his speed to just get enough of the ball, deflecting it incomplete.
Bill Parcells said early that John Missler is the guy you want to go to in the clutch. He has great hands and he can get open. You see it there. You talked about Gil Bird's fingernails early. Or was it Danny Walters? Well, Berg's fingernails just barely long enough to tip that ball away there.
1:04 left. Almost intercepted as Brunner, his arm was hit as he delivered the ball. That's where the Giants want to put it, but in the possession of a man in a blue uniform. It's 3rd down and 10 at the 12. That was his personal record tying 51st pass today.
And as the Giants have come down toward the end zone, the amount of field they have to work with shrinks. The Chargers able to blitz to try and get additional pressure on Brunner. They've done it twice. The last 2 plays, both blitzes. Perhaps they'll be coming again.
Exactly a minute left. Chargers lead by 7. Blitz again. And that might be rolled a fumble. Let's see. Yes, it is. It has rolled a fumble. That quarterback, Scott Brunner, just let the ball drop out of his hand. And San Diego, on a freak recovery, perhaps will survive.
And Parcells is absolutely stunned on the other sideline. Young rookie went over and wisely covered the football. It looked to me that the passing motion actually started, but the ball slipped out of Brunner's hand. I don't believe Billy Ray thought that was a fumble. He just covered it. Look at him. He just kind of trotting away with it. Of course, he cannot advance it, but look at that. He's absolutely thrilled.
So the ball goes to the Chargers at the 20-yard line, and Ed Luther will just try to sit on the ball and run out the final 52 seconds. The Giants have 2 timeouts left, and will spend 1 now. So it appears that the Giants rolling toward a game-tying touchdown, and Brunner losing his grip on the football. A most unusual fumble, the 5th today by the Giants, all 5 recovered by San Diego, and the Chargers needed those 5 turnovers to survive in a 41-34 game.
Chargers only had recovered 4 fumbles on the season, Dick. They've gotten 5 today. Absolutely difficult to comprehend the kind of frustration that must exist for Bill Parcells, who felt, I think, that his team was on the verge of getting back into this ball game with a touchdown. And what an interesting way. It really did come down ultimately to the Giant offense against the San Diego defense, and well, they came up with the big play when they needed it.
Tom Bass saying, way to go, we held them to 34.
Well, they have been injured and hurt, and there's a man who had his big plays today. Muncie, big run down the sideline for a touchdown. You saw him getting the congratulations. 3 rushing touchdowns on the day.
Now Luther again, sit on the football. Giants call time. We want to thank our producer Larry Cirillo, our director Ted Nathanson, all the folks at NBC Sports. It's been a dizzying game for everyone. Michael Weissman, our executive producer, coordinating producer Ted Nathanson, produced by Larry Cirillo this game and directed by Ted Nathanson. All the rest of our folks, Bill Tovey, technical director. Our newlywed, John Libretto, associate director. John Filippelli, producer of NFL 83. All the folks that made another big day on NBC. What a doubleheader for those. Most of you in the country saw the doubleheader. The Raiders at Washington. That was a Redskin win, 37-35. And this the second half of the doubleheader. Boy, you really need a calculator to figure out how many points you saw in just 2 football games.
And heart-stopping, emotional surges back and forth for both of these teams. Bruce Laird, one of the beleaguered defenders for the San Diego Chargers. They operated under some real tough constraints today. Injuries to their 2 starting safeties, 5 rookies on the field.
2 games, 147 points to be exact. Our thanks to Joe Costanza, helping the booth, Owen Tunney, Kevin McEwen, Steve Dolgercio, Bill Spellman. The Giants can't stop the clock now, and it's academic. 20 seconds left.
Well, the Chargers said they were desperate, Dick. They couldn't come out of this ballpark without a victory and hope for a playoff spot. Right now, they have their victory apparently in hand. There's a concern on the sideline for the health of their quarterback, Dan Fouts, but Ed Luther has proved himself to be a capable replacement. And I'm sure their defense, in spite of the adversity and the number of points on the board, has grown tremendously under the adversity of today.
Actually, the game has not ended yet. There's no time left on the clock, but actually, I believe there's a second remaining as Gene Barth and agonizing 1 second remaining for Bill Parcells, because with a delay of game, it only delays the anguish, extends the anguish for the Giants, who now will be 2-3, as will be the Chargers. And it could well be that now there's no need for Luther to take a safety here. He just needs to successfully take the snap from center. But it is a strange quarterback center combination. The ball is wet. That's Scott Brunner. And we better wait for that final snap. There has been the miracle of the Meadowlands when the Giants stole one against the Eagles a couple of years ago.
Yeah, there certainly was. What anguish for a young man who was on the verge of perhaps his most exciting day as a pro quarterback, and all to have it slip away in a single moment.
Well, the story today, the offense almost unstoppable. The teams had to stop themselves, and the Chargers prevail 41-34. One of the preseason favorites to get to the Super Bowl. They were ever so close to going 1-4. They fly home to San Diego, back in contention, because the leaders in their division, the Raiders, had lost earlier to the Redskins. Meanwhile, Bill Parcells and the Giants have seen Washington win again today, and so did Dallas. So the Giants' job remains tough, and a long day for Brunner.
In the Meadowlands, the Giants driving for the tying touchdown. Scott Brunner back to pass. He loses it without being touched. Billy Ray Smith recovers, and the Giants lose. This is the Budweiser NFL Report, brought to you by Budweiser, proud sponsor of the U.S. Olympic team. For all you do, this Bud's for you. Hi again, everyone. Welcome back to our New York studios from the franchise that brought you the Joe Pisarcik fumble. Here they fumbled today after taking the 3 points off the board. A tough call there, and then the Scott Brunner fumble. Tough day for Giants fans. Okay, the scores and highlights. First of all, the great game down in our nation's capital, nearly 1,000 yards of offense. The Redskins hand the Raiders their first loss of the year, 37-35. The Raiders were 4-0 coming in. How about this play? First down from your own 1. Play action fake, just like Bart Starr used to do it. Plunkett 99 yards to Cliff Branch, but he pulled his hamstring on the play, and Marcus Allen did not play today, and that hampered the Raider offense. Now, take a look at this one. Fourth quarter. On the punt, Greg Pruitt takes it at his 3 for the Raiders, and he is gone. A 97-yard punt return, the longest in Raider history. This put the Raiders up 28-20 at the time. They then went ahead 35-20 for a major 15-point lead. But with 33 seconds left in the game, Theismann over the middle to Joe Washington. The Redskins won it 37-35, game of the day. Now, Chicago over Denver, 31-14. John Elway, an awful day for him. You wonder if DeBerg will finally get the start next week at Houston. Jim McMahon, first series for the Bears, 52 yards in a crowd to Matt Suhey. Suhey then scored on the ensuing play, and the Bears never trailed after that. Here's the worst pass of the day. Elway with a lollipop just picked off by Leslie Frazier. Willie Gold had 2 more touchdown receptions. The Bears win it 31-14. And Dallas now the only undefeated NFL team left. They knock off the Vikings 37-24. When we continue from New York, more scores and highlights. Tampa Bay hasn't won yet. Houston hasn't won yet. A big day of football. We'll be right back, everybody. Hope you'll stay with us.
Terminology, in the pack, they're 2-3.
They certainly do, and they're going to have to regroup for next week. A very hard loss for them. They played hard. They played well. They didn't quite get there.
And the Chargers, they were within maybe 12 yards of going into overtime, and they would have been 1-4. Even at that, what are your thoughts?
Well, they're not out of it, Dick, but certainly they paid a price for the victory today. A lot of injuries to Fouts, to their defensive people. Going to be tough for them to bounce back against Seattle next week.
Tough to figure this one. The Giants had only allowed 60 points, give up 41 today, and lose to San Diego 41-34. Now back to Len Berman, NFL 83.
All right, thank you, Dick and Merlin. Of course, the 5 fumbles, really the crusher for the Giants and their fans. We'll be coming back to New York in just a minute when we continue on the Budweiser NFL Report. More to tell you. We'll be right back right after these words from Budweiser. The final there, 17-10. Seattle, good day over Cleveland, 24-9. First place San Francisco beat New England 33-13. Philadelphia from behind to beat Atlanta 28-24. Baltimore is now 3-2 after no wins last year, 34-31. Green Bay with a record 49 points in the first half beats Tampa Bay. The Bucs are 0-5. San Diego, as you just saw, without Dan Fouts in the second half, over the Giants, 41-34. New Orleans, a second-place team at 3-2. They never had a winning season in their history, 17-7. The Rams over Detroit, 21-10. Kansas City finally won a game after losing 3 in a row in the Battle of Missouri, 38-14. Tonight on NBC, you'll see First Camera, followed by Knight Rider, and then the season premiere of Yellow Rose. It's been a great day of football on NFL 83. Hope you've enjoyed it. For all of us, I'm Len Berman. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next weekend, everybody.
A promotional fee has been paid to NBC by United Airlines. We serve more of this land's top 100 business centers than any other airline. Fly the friendly skies.
This has been a presentation of NBC Sports, the leader in innovative sports television. Tonight, is Kit destroyed?
Oh, gets a real sack this time. And that one in the person of Barney Bussey, who comes through. Bussey